vet eller säger sig i bergen. I step into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, oh. I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning Expresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
What are you doing?
You're not allowed to stop.
Okay, put it down and shake it loose. Yes. It's a Wednesday morning. We are completely silly, yes, but sometimes you need a little silly this early in the morning.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, it's a brand new day, guys.
It is
Breathe
a
it
new
in,
day.
take it in.
I don't want to seem like trite, okay, but just Nigerian fans. I know it's a little too difficult to let it go at this stage, but we feel you, man. Nigeria making, in my mind, far too early an exit from the World Cup, so we are so sorry. But Argentina proving their credentials, man.
Well, there we have it.
Ah, man, this World Cup is going to
crazy,
break us, man.
man.
It's the craziest, undoubtedly the craziest. Wait, I just want to go for a video assist referral for that.
There we go. See, refresh the memory.
Listen, let's get into your Wednesday morning. Thank you very much for joining me. Awesome to be hanging out with you guys. Janie Bay's here. Yes, she's been sound checking. She sounds amazing. She's our musical guest this morning. There she is, looking all fresh. Yes, bringing her some of her brand new music as well to your Feel Good Breakfast show this morning.
I think she's been waiting for like the last half an hour, waiting to be seen. Then we've got a superstar when it comes to the genre of fantasy. Raymond E. Feist is in the house. An incredible author. Read his books when I was younger. He kind of opened my mind to a whole different side of reading absolutely amazing books like A Magician or The Magician. Absolute superstar in the game. So honored to have him here.
That's right, and it's Wednesday, which means it's parenting advice time. And this morning we are tackling the topic, should parents intervene in their child's friendships? I think a very important topic to be discussed.
Absolutely. How do you get in there if you don't really like the friend? I don't know. Anyways, we can unpack that. And then also we hang out with internationally recognized cosplay model Megan Mari. Now, she's brilliant. She hails from the States. She's here. She's very much involved in the Tomb Raider franchise as well. But we're going to be finding out what brings her here and what the world of cosplay is all about.
You know how many people just suddenly went like, oh, really?
Oh, hey.
Oh, okay. It's going to be an awesome show. So let's get it officially underway with our very own Tomb Raider, our Lara Croft looking all kinds of business this morning. Our Lily with the news.
She's atomic blonde.
Good morning, team, and good morning to you at home. Let's get you updated in the news. In the national news, President Cyril Ramaphosa and the divisional board member of Mercedes-Benz Cars Production and Supply Chain, Marcus Schaefer, announced late yesterday that Mercedes-Benz South Africa is to invest 10 billion rand in its South African assembly operation in East London. The investment is linked to the company's decision to build the generation of the Mercedes-Benz C-Class in East London. Ramaphosa said this reaffirmed the car maker's commitment to South Africa. This investment in South Africa's vehicle manufacturing industry is in keeping with the country's drive to raise 1.2 trillion rand in new investment over the next 5 years. Rolling out the National Health Insurance Fund blindly will have severe consequences for the country, the South African Society of Anesthesiologists warned yesterday. Briefing the media on the legislative changes expected in the country's healthcare system, the organization expressed concerns that there would be a mass exodus of doctors and specialists if the new funding model was implemented recklessly. The organization had called the briefing following media reports that analysts had warned that state-regulated fees planned by the NHI would drive doctors out of the country. Now moving further abroad, Zimbabwe's political party signed a peace pledge in Harare yesterday ahead of elections in July. The peace pledge is a code of conduct that commits presidential candidates and their different parties to campaign peacefully and also encourages tolerance amongst the different political parties. The recent explosion in Bulawayo at a rally of President Emerson Mnangagwa killed 2 of his security officers and was the first serious incident of violence in the country, or rather in the current election campaign. And then finally, US President Donald Trump has hailed a Supreme Court ruling upholding his travel ban, which covers people from several Muslim-majority countries. Lower courts had deemed the ban unconstitutional, but the US top court reversed the decision in a 5-4 conservative majority ruling. The court's reversal is viewed as a victory for the Trump administration. The ban prohibits most people from Iran, Libya, Somalia, Syria and Yemen from entering the US. Trump said the Supreme Court's decision was a great victory for the nation and the Constitution. Well, that was your 6 o'clock news update. Here's our very first look at what's happening in the very exciting world of sport. Graham Richards has the details.
Yes, very exciting and heartbreaking for some. Africa has lost its fourth team at the 2018 edition of the Soccer World Cup. That came last night as Nigeria were eliminated after a 2-1 loss to Argentina. The Super Eagles, they needed to either win or draw to ensure their place in the last 16, but goals from Argentina's Lionel Messi, one of his best in a World Cup, and from defender Marcos Rojo ended Africa's celebrations. Elsewhere, Croatia beat Iceland 2-1 to finish top of their group, while Denmark and France played out to the first goalless draw of the tournament. Today, another bumper lineup as Mexico face Sweden. Germany are up against South Korea, while Brazil entertain Serbia. Then on to rugby. Former Springbok captain Adrian Strauss will retire from all forms of rugby at the end of the current Super Rugby season, bringing an end to a 14-year career. The Bulls hooker currently holds the record for the most Super Rugby appearances by a South African player, with 156 caps under his name. Strauss's Bulls team return to Super Rugby action this weekend as they face the Sunwolves. Elsewhere, we have a local derby with the Sharks entertaining the Lions, and then the Stormers are back on the road travelling to the Jaguares. Then on to tennis. Angelique Kerber's Wimbledon preparations took a step in the right direction yesterday as she saw out a third-round straight sets win over Dominika Kibulkova at the Eastbourne International. Eyeing her first ever win at Wimbledon, Kerber showed off her strength on the grass as she pulled off a 6-3, 6-3 win to set up a round of full clash with Danielle Rose Collins. Some other results, there were wins for Agnieszka Radwanska, Yelena Ostapenko and Petra Kvitova. And that's where we leave our sport for now. We'll delve a little deeper into all those World Cup permutations in the first hour of the show, so stay tuned.
Thank you very much, Graham. Let's quickly take a look at your weather and your temperatures. And man, are we happy because it's a nice and a wet morning down in the mother city. That cold front moved in over the Western Cape and it's been raining ever since this morning. It's absolutely beautiful. George and Eisner will also set to get about 5 millimeters of sprinkling rain this morning, whereas Saldanha Bay can expect between 15 and 20 millimeters of precipitation as well. So definitely some great rain to be expected still in the course of the next couple of hours going forward. But your temperatures for the rest of the country: Polokwane on 4 minimum, reaching a high of 21. Mbombela 8-26. Pretoria 5-19. Johannesburg 4 and a high of 18 degrees. Mahikeng 5 with the maximum 23. Klerksdorp 2-22. Kimberley 0 minimum with the maximum 22 degrees. Bloemfontein 0 as well, so reaching a maximum 20. Richards Bay 13-26. Pietermaritzburg 8-25. Durban 17-24. Mthatha 7-24. East London starting off on 10 minimum, your maximum 22. Cradock 1 minimum with the maximum 22. Port Elizabeth 9-20. George 6 and a high of a cool 15 degrees. Sutherland -3 and a maximum of only 9 degrees. Cold in Sutherland today. Cape Town 7-16. Worcester 2-13. Springbok 4 minimum, your maximum 15. And Uppington 2 minimum, reaching a maximum 19 degrees. That's a wrap of your weather and your temperatures for the 6 o'clock bulletin. I'm back in half an hour's time, just after 6:30 with another update.
Well, we welcome the 27th of June, and if that's not proof enough that we're living in a world that's constantly changing, life is definitely seeming to get faster by the day. So we're going to put on the brakes and take a look at what happened in history on this day.
Listen, this is one of my favorites. In 1987, legendary singer Whitney Houston's track I Want to Dance with Somebody went to #1. It was her 4th consecutive #1, and at the time, it was her most successful song, despite mixed reviews from critics. Can you believe that there were some people who actually didn't like this song? Who are those people? We want their names. They need to go.
It's still a hit to this day. Well, we're going to turn back the clock to 1940 when Germany, they started using their most sophisticated coding machine. The machine is named Enigma, and this is all to transmit information. So what a team in England have done is they were headed by some of the best mathematical brains, and they were set to break the code. And these were the events that was the premise for the 2014 Academy Award-winning movie, The Imitation Game. So today is a historic day.
Pretty cool. And then, of course, on this day in 1954, during the FIFA World Cup, the much-anticipated quarter-final match between Hungary and Brazil turned violent, with 3 players being ejected from the field, and further fighting continued after the game. So, yeah, never a cool way for things to go down, hey?
Never a cool way. But that was our bite-sized dose of what happened on this day in history. So why don't you go out, make today one for the books?
Yep, go out there and make it one for the history books, man. Go take it. It's your day. It's your day. Listen, we're taking a very quick break. The first ad break of the morning. Your Wednesday morning is now officially underway. When we come back, we chat to Nazrina Karim. She's here to talk about, should we actually intervene in our child's relationships, our friends? Yes, it's going to be a rather interesting subject this morning. Weigh in on the conversation on social media if you feel like it.
Especially if you've had to experience going through something like that. 0214309881, that's the number to dial then. It's a tough challenge, but are you up for it? It's our emoji game. Ooh, it's going to be a thriller. We'll see you after the break.
Join the party this Saturday evening on Top Billing, as a weekend away with Andile and Nonhle Jali confirms what a rocking good wedding theirs is going to be. Kate Blanchett and Sandra Bullock make a dynamite cast in Ocean's 8, and we get the exclusive. Plus, Ayanda's in Italy for the ultimate ocean cruise. It's the best of the good life on land, sea and air, Saturday evening at 6 on SABC3. The stage is yours.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're tuned into your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, right here on SABC3. So good to be hanging out with you. It's your Wednesday morning, middle of the week, sailing down to the weekend. We love it. Right now, though, as adults, we are better equipped to make the right friendship choices than children are, naturally. But, and as a parent, it can also be tempting to want to shield your child from making the wrong choices and instead choosing for them. But the big question is, should parents get involved in their child's friends and with their child's relationship with their friends? So we are joined in studio by registered occupational therapist Nazreen Karim to talk about this very important topic, helping us parents out. Nazreen, lovely to have you back. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
This is an interesting subject because I don't know really what to do with this. With my boys growing up now, my youngest being, he's turning 6 now, you know, he's got his friends and he talk about his friends. But is that the thing? Should parents really get involved in those friendships?
Well, I think it is actually important, especially like you're mentioning age 6. You know, it's very important for parents to get involved, as these are the first relationships that your child will actually make. And from that very first interaction, you know, with another kid, they're actually getting to learn that social skills, they're getting to learn about sharing, they're getting to learn about all those little concepts such as empathy, if the one child gets upset, and we need to actually teach them what it's like to put yourself in their shoes as well. So it is actually very important, especially because it's their first friendships that they're making, and they do need guidance.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, I need to also ask you this. Now, you have your boy or your girl, you take them to school, but you notice that there's a particular friend maybe that's a bit of a negative influence on your child. You can see your child's behavior starting to change a little bit. Yeah. How do you approach that? Because it's not as if you can just take your kid out of school, or, you know, they have to still be in the same vicinity. So what do you do as a parent?
Well, that will always be the telltale sign of completely changed behavior in a child that you know is not typical to them. Yeah. It's always important not to always assume that it is the other friend. It's always important to be neutral. And I always feel it's always nice for parents to get to know the parents of the other child as well. You know, when it comes to play dates, have the child over for a play date, get to know the family as well. And if there is a negative behavior, to actually maybe in a very nice, diplomatic way, you know, address it.
Ooh, it can get so awkward, though.
It can get very awkward, but that's what's always important, to be very neutral about it, because sometimes it actually might be your child.
That's the thing,
So it's very important to actually look at what's happening on both sides, or maybe the other child's actually going through a very difficult emotional time in their life. So
and you have to approach it on such a gentle way, because at the end of the day, it's your kids that needs to deal with it. Because if you're going to have a bit of a row with the friend's parents, and then they're going to, and then things are going to be said between the kids, it's a mess. So you really have to be very, very diplomatic, like you were saying. What are some of the life skills that you think that you should teach your child from a very young age to be able to deal with these things? You know, to be able to recognize, you know, when maybe a particular individual is not the greatest influence on them.
I think it's very important to obviously teach them about, you know, having a certain standard of what's right and what's wrong, what's appropriate and what's not appropriate. For example, it's not appropriate to hit the other child. You know, those basic things. And also very important to teach them the concept of sharing and empathy, as well as assertiveness. If in case they're being hit or anything like that, to actually teach them to be able to stand up for themselves.
Absolutely. And you know what, that is why being a parent is so important. But it comes down to parents modeling behavior as well. To see that how we interact with people around us, you know, whether that be in the shopping centre or wherever else. So I think that's very important. Nazreen, thank you very much for joining us this morning. We are not done yet. We still have a load to unpack. We're going to be back with Nazreen a little bit later on this morning.
Well, we're now about to play a little bit of a game that we like to do every Wednesday. We check if your entertainment knowledge is on point, and this game is just for you. It's called our Emoji Charades game, and we really want to test your skills. We're asking, is it a movie, a TV show, or a song? But don't worry, we're going to give you a couple of emojis and, of course, a few clues to help you out.
Okay, so while we bring the emojis on, I think we might have given this one away already. So we know it's a film. Okay, there are 2 words involved, and then there are some ladies.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ladies.
8 ladies. So it's a spin-off of a film, a trilogy that was originally directed by Steven Soderbergh. It features an ensemble female cast and a brilliant cast at that. Some A-listers there for sure. And the film follows a group of women who come together to perform a heist at the Met Gala.
I think it's a dead giveaway.
You've been asleep for the last 3 weeks.
Well, there you go. Do you know which movie it is? Why don't you head on over to our social media pages, that's on Facebook and Twitter, by using that hashtag Expresso Show and try out our emoji charades game.
Try it out indeed. Well, still to come after the break, we are going to be having our Soccer World Cup roundup, and then Janie Bay, our musical artist, is going to be put to the test in some quick fire questions just to get to know her a little better. Try the new McAfee Low GI sandwiches. Cheese and tomato, chicken club, and cheese and tomato chicken roll. Enjoy a moment in between with McAfee.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, welcome back to your feel-good breakfast show. I feel like this is the moment Graham's been waiting for to touch World Cup action, at least talk World Cup action.
All right, I almost felt again. It does kind of feel like we're there at the World Cup. That intro music is awesome. First of all, I hate to do it right at the beginning of a game, but it's a red card for the VAR system. It is messing with the games. It is messing with referees.
People are getting really upset about this because this is the first World Cup where they're incorporating the VAR system.
It's helped in a lot of instances. I think a lot of penalties given away where they thought it would deny a lot of players penalties with the way that players tend to dive. But it's just slowing games down, but it's inviting players to challenge the referee on absolutely every decision. We're seeing such disrespectful behaviour. So, I mean, there was a bit more respect on the field last night, but I think there's going to need to be a reassessment of. But let's get back into the action. The action, of course, that saw the Super Eagles leaving the World Cup last night, losing to a below-par Argentinian side. Someone who wasn't below par is Lionel Messi. He got his first goal in 662 minutes of football last night, but he did it in true Messi fashion. If ever they needed the talisman to shine, he did it. Just 3 or 4 touches before a beautiful strike. And you can see how much it meant to the man himself. Victor Moses then stepped up to coolly slot home a penalty after Mascherano was caught handling a player in the box, and the celebration was certainly worth it. But how is this? Rojo scoring his 3rd goal in over 50 appearances. He is a defender, not the fastest of men on the field, but you can see what this meant to Argentina. Please don't show anything of Maradona. Just go onto Twitter, where it's child safe to see Maradona's behaviour over this match, but you can see what it meant to the Argentinian side. So they are through. They're going to now face France in the round of 16, where they might get found out. The likes of Mbappe, Griezmann, Pogba, the pace that the French possess, and the size, the height. We saw Argentina already battling with their crosses with the high ball. They rely too much on Messi, is the bottom line. But if anyone could do it, he can do it. So let's move over to the other half of last night's scintillating action. Croatia up against Iceland. Iceland were in it with a very slim chance, and they are out.
I was secretly like rooting Iceland because they were, they've always been considered the underdogs.
Yeah, man, and they obviously after the 2016 Euros where they made it to the last 16, people believed, but they are bottom of the log. Of course, Croatia proving their credentials, and why I say that, they made 9 substitutions to the team that came out and won last night. That's from the team that demolished Argentina 3-0. So they have the depth, they've got the star power in that side, and they're certainly the big winners here in terms of who they face, because they'll be playing against Denmark, who I think gave us the most below par performance we've seen last night. Not just them, along with France, in our first goalless draw of a World Cup. How cool is that we've only had a goalless draw at this point? So let's fly through some of those other results. Australia going down to Peru. Peru, I think, can leave with their heads held high, but they'll be furious that they didn't do better against the likes of Denmark and France, because they proved that they can score goals. 2 brilliant goals, one from Corella, one from Guerrero. And then, of course, we have to go through it all over again tonight with some of the big guns out to prove their worth as we move into Group F and Group E. So Mexico and Sweden up tonight. Mexico sitting on the top of Group F. Sweden still have a chance if they get a win or if they get a draw, they can progress. Likewise, Germany, goal difference is exactly the same, so that's going to need to shift if they both get a draw.
Which is quite scary.
So again, you're going to see one of the minnows, South Korea, playing a very important role here. And for some reason, all of these teams that are getting knocked out are waiting until their final game to show this incredible heart spirit. The fans also deserve a beautiful nod there as well. So Brazil, Serbia, that's going to be another massive one as well as we move over to Group E. Brazil sitting on top, but they could lose that position. Serbia still in it with a shout. Costa Rica, they've been eliminated. Switzerland still in it with a shout. But I think Brazil expected to progress there, but Costa Rica again could throw things. I keep waiting for an injury time goal, because that's the way that this World Cup has worked. But just giving you a quick recap of some of the teams that have been eliminated: Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Morocco, Iran, Peru, Australia, Nigeria, Iceland, Costa Rica, Panama, Tunisia, and Poland all out. That's 4 African teams, which is heartbreaking. So they're going to give a yellow card. Come on.
A yellow card.
So if you are an athlete like our World Cup superstars, or a weekend warrior like myself, and you just love to be active, but you are battling with your joints, those aches and pains because you're pushing your body to its absolute limit, Real MSM Threshold is an absolute wonder. It's really helped me so much. It's a natural form of sulfur that really does help your tissue repair, helps those joints, those aching muscles. It has become my go-to, and the beautiful thing is it's all natural and it is so effective.
Try Threshold. It's clinically proven to assist with pain and inflammation, joint health, exercise recovery, and oxidative damage. Threshold, nature's anti-inflammatory for painful conditions.
Oh, man, I don't think I've seen anybody as excited as Graham for this World Cup, man. Definitely a whole host of action, but still a lot of games heading your way today as well. We'll bring you a roundup once again of all the soccer action tomorrow. Right now, though, let's get into news headlines. Here's Leanne.
In the national news this morning, President Cyril Ramaphosa and divisional board member of Mercedes-Benz, Marcus Schaefer, announced late yesterday that Mercedes-Benz Africa is to invest 10 billion rand in its South African assembly operation in East London. Ramaphosa said this reaffirmed the carmaker's commitment to South Africa. Rolling out the National Health Insurance Fund blindly will have severe consequences for the country, the South African Society of Anesthesiologists warned yesterday. Now, the organization expressed concern that there would be a mass exodus of doctors and specialists if the new funding model was implemented recklessly. On the international front, Zimbabwe's political parties signed a peace pledge in Harare yesterday ahead of elections in July. The peace pledge is a code of conduct that commits presidential candidates and their different parties to campaign peacefully. And finally, US President Donald Trump has hailed a Supreme Court ruling upholding his travel ban, which covers people from several Muslim-majority countries, such as Iran, Libya, Syria, and Yemen, from entering the USA. Well, that was your 6:30 news update. I'll have a full bulletin for you at the top of the hour.
We start with World Cup news. Africa lost its fourth team at the Soccer World Cup last night as Nigeria were eliminated after a 2-1 loss to Argentina today. It's the turn of Mexico up against Sweden, while Germany, they are up against South Korea. Then on to rugby. Former Springbok captain and Bulls captain Adrian Strauss will retire from all forms of rugby at the end of the current Super Rugby season, bringing to an end a fantastic 14-year career. On to tennis. Finally, Angelique Kerber's Wimbledon preparations took a step in the right direction yesterday as she saw out a third-round convincing straight sets win over Dominika Kibulkova at the Eastbourne International. We'll expand on those headlines in a half hour or so. Right now, let's catch up on what's happening on the roads.
Well, let's take a first look at the roads in Gauteng, Bedford View. There is a multi-vehicle accident on the N12 westbound. That's after Electron interchange, blocking 2 right lanes, so you can expect delays. Then in Midrand, there's been a pedestrian incident on Old Pretoria Road at Leroux, and please be extra cautious on this route and allow for some extra travel time. I'll bring you another traffic update in half an hour.
More than a club, more than an appliance brand. Defy.
Just after 6:30, let's quickly take another look at your weather and your temperatures. And it's raining beautifully in the mother city at the moment. That cold front has moved in over the Western Cape, and it is set to continue with some rain throughout the next couple of hours into the early hours of the afternoon. For the rest of the country, no partly cloudy conditions can be expected. Your temperatures, Polokwane starting off on 4 minimum, reaching a high of 21. Mbombela 8 to 26. Pretoria 5 minimum with the maximum 19. Johannesburg 4:18. Maikeng 5:23. Klerksdorp on 2 minimum, your maximum 22. Kimberley around 0 this morning, warming up to 22. 0 for Bloemfontein as well with a maximum of 20. Richards Bay 13:26. Pietermaritzburg 8 to 25. Durban 17:24. Mtata 7 and a high of 24 as well. East London starting off on 10, your maximum 22. Cradock 1 this morning with a maximum 22 degrees. Port Elizabeth 9:20, George 6:15. Sutherland cold today, -3 this morning, reaching a maximum of only 9 degrees. Cape Town 7:16, Worcester 2 minimum, your maximum 13. Springbok 4:15, Uppington 2 minimum with a maximum of 19 degrees. It's a wrap of your weather and your temperatures for the 6:30 bulletin. We'll keep you updated throughout the course of your Wednesday. I'm back just after 7 with another update.
Thank you so much, Ewan. Time now to get to know singer, songwriter, and just awesome person, my Insta buddy, Janie Bay, because I love you so much, man. I especially spent some time making you not 1, but 2 donuts.
Oh.
Princess. Thank you. Love your work. So good to have you here. Welcome back. We love you. The sound check's sounding amazing. So you guys have got something special coming, but don't think now because you're comfortable here and we're all mates that you're going to get off lightly.
Oh, really?
It's time to play rapid fire, all right?
Okay.
I want honesty, brutal honesty, okay? Some serious topics we're going to discuss here, so I need you to take this seriously. We've got a lot of questions. We've got 27 questions to try and get through in 60 seconds.
Okay.
Are you up for it?
I guess I have to be.
I can see the tiger's eye. No, you'll be just fine. Okay, so I'm going to fire them off, and you're just going to be honest already. Cool. 3, 2, 1. If you had a time machine, where would you travel, past or future?
Past.
Beach getaway or wild retreat?
Beach getaway.
Taylor Swift or Rihanna?
Rihanna.
Iron Man or Captain America?
Iron Man.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Have you been to all 9 provinces in South Africa?
No.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
West Coast or South Coast?
West Coast.
Movies or books?
Movies.
Kendall Jenner or Kylie Jenner?
I don't know them.
Dark or milk chocolate?
Dog.
Pasta or pizza?
Pizza.
Nice. Favorite color?
Blue.
Morning person or night owl?
Morning.
Favorite word?
Love.
Oh, fruits or vegetables?
Vegetables.
Cats or dogs?
Oh, that's a bad one. I like both, but dogs.
You're allowed
maybe.
to. Romantic comedy or a suspense horror?
I don't like horror, so.
Favorite sports team?
I don't know sports.
Most used emoji?
I like the one with the hearts, with the eyes, with the hearts.
Man, are you part unicorn, part angel? Come on, that was well done, man. We got over 20 questions done here.
Hey.
That is like some kind of a record.
No,
well
know
done.
What the other ones are.
I mean, there's some pretty cool ones. Vin Diesel or Dwayne Johnson, The Rock?
Yeah,
Vin
The
Diesel,
Rock.
The Rock.
Yeah.
We should have started with that one. Some great answers. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I won't even bother asking you about Kim K or Chloe K. We won't go there. So let's talk about you and your current kind of musical journey at the moment. Miscellany.
Yeah.
Am I saying it right?
Yeah, Miscellany.
What's going on? What is it all about, man? Where's your mindset now at the moment? Because you speak so much through your music. So what does it say about Janie at the moment?
So I released that album in September last year. So we've had a few singles from that album, which has been doing quite well. I did one Afrikaans one with Hunter Kennedy. That was received quite well. And now there's a few other ones. I've got a new one that's just been released. My album was also nominated for a SAMA award, which was obviously, I feel honored.
Now that I've given you a fist bump for The Rock, I've got to give you a fist bump for a SAMA nod, man. Wow.
So there's nice things happening. Yeah.
Do you feel the allure? Because, I mean, I don't want to kind of pigeonhole you and say you're straight down the line folk. But there is some kind of spirit in there for that. There is a pop appeal there as well, but there is such a big market on the Afrikaans side of their industry, and artists are doing so well.
Yeah.
Is that something that plays on your mind? Are you going to release an all Afrikaans album? Because you could.
Yeah. A lot of people ask me that. It really would depend on how it's done and if there's something different that I can do and if it works, because my style is a bit more folky, acoustic. So if there's a place for that, sure.
We've kind of entered the era, thankfully, of the singer-songwriter. I think that's where South Africans are really putting their hands up at the moment. And there seems to be a self-belief that maybe hasn't been there in the past. We don't need to copy anyone. Do you feel that? Do you feel that you have the freedom to make the music that you want to, or do you feel that you've got to pander to commercial kind of aims, what you've got to do to get paid?
Yeah, I think South Africa is probably still a little bit behind with what's happening overseas, because I feel that you can kind of do anything in the pop, even the singer-songwriter pop sense. Like there'll be a song that's very pop, or a song that's a bit more R&B oriented, or country.
You've got rappers and rockers.
Yeah, so you can kind of do anything. So I'm really hoping that will start happening here as well, that we can kind of do a song that sounds popular, but it's kind of falls into any genre as well.
The moment that Ed Sheeran did something with Slim Shady, that's all bets are off.
Yeah.
No, we absolutely love you. You're a superstar,
you.
and you're doing so well. And we're going to give you just a little performance, a private performance in your lounge a little bit later this morning, so stay tuned.
Well, we are taking a very quick break on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Can't wait to hear Janie Bay perform, but first, we need to catch up with the 5FM team to find out what's happening in the top 40 chart.
Yeah, man, all those movers and shakers. And then we just got to know her, Janie Bay. She's lovely. But we're going to find out how she dips Oma. Yeah, and hopefully make it onto that wall of ours, with the most memorable dip as well. So, Janie, get ready. Think about it. Think about it. We can't wait to see it after the break.
Wees lief vir die eensaamheid wie jy is. Al die eensaam is, as jy eensaam is. Wees lief vir die eensaamheid wie jy is. Sal altyd wag vir jou. Sal altyd wag vir jou. As jy nie by die een kan wees of jy lief is nie. Wees lief vir die eensaamheid wie jy is. Al die eensaam is, as jy eensaam is. Wees lief vir die eensaamheid wie jy is. Sal altyd wag vir jou. Sal altyd wag vir jou. Doen waarvan ek hou. Hou van wat ek doen. Dink nie baie goed.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Hey, welcome back. You're tuned into your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso right here on SABC3. So good to be hanging out with you. It's your Wednesday morning and us a wet one as well in the Mother City. We're loving it. Nice and chilly. Winter vibes.
Vibes.
Winter vibes.
Feel the winter vibes.
Feel the winter vibes.
It is here. All right, so if you've been living under a rock for the past 2 years, then you won't understand what the words Salt Bay actually mean. But for those of you who have been here, you're available, you're on the pulse, you know exactly about the chef and, of course, the stardom that he reached, that have reached insane levels after that infamous pose of him salting meat, of course, from 1/2 meter up, and most of it just lands everywhere else but on the actual meat. While the celebrity chef has recently opened a restaurant in New York where he has entertained the likes of P. Diddy, Naomi Campbell, the Beckham family. Now, we've had the opportunity to find out that a South African band that we've had on our show recently was actually featured at the restaurant. We're talking about none other than No Method. They were in the studio last Friday. In one of his snaps, the Insta star shared, you clearly hear the internationally popular track Let Me Go by No Method playing in the background. Let's take a listen. How cool!
Wow.
Yeah.
Baby stuff.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Come on.
Wow.
No Method, South Africa, doing so well. I feel like that should just be like the soundtrack to the restaurant.
Yeah.
When you walk it, you're like, I don't know how to do
cool,
it,
man.
but yeah. Absolutely.
Well done, guys.
Local talent being appreciated abroad really warms our hearts. So wonderful stuff.
That's true. And you know what? They're being appreciated on the 5FM Top 40 chart as well, as we take a look at what's happening with the international and local tracks. AKA's new track, Beyonce, is inching ever so closely to that top 10. But Lady Samar is still the top performing South African artist on that chart show. But let's take a look with Nick Hammond.
What's going on, guys? It's Nick Hammond here to recap the 5FM Top 40 from this past weekend, and jumping straight in like we do every week, we begin by looking at the brand new entries onto the charts. And speaking of which, coming in at 38, it's a South African band that's relocated to the United Kingdom. I'm talking about Early Hours. This track is called Blink. At number 37, it's brand new music from Kygo and Imagine Dragons. This one is called Born to Be Yours.
I know I was born to be yours. Never knew anybody till I knew you.
Time to check out my move and shaker picks for the week. The first one's gone from 33 to 25. Straight out of Cape Town, this is sensation Craig Lucas. My second move and shaker pick has jumped from 40 to 17 in just 2 weeks on the charts. It's just been announced that he's coming to South Africa in 2019. It's Ed Sheeran with Happier.
You do. Ain't nobody hurt you like I.
Time to check out the top 10 hits in music now from the past weekend on the 5FM Top 40. Beginning at number 10, it's John Legend and Blood Pop with A Good Night.
I think I just met my wife.
At number 9, the first of not only one entrance in the top 10 for Cardi B this week, teaming up with J Balvin and Bad Bunny. This is a classic hit sampled. It's called I Like It.
Beat it up like pinata. Tell the job to close the curtains. Bad bitch.
Shawn Mendes takes your number 8 spot this week with a song that finally comes as the lead single of his latest album, Shawn Mendes, In My Blood. After 4 weeks of the charts, from last week's number 11 to this week's number 7, Demi Lovato jumps into the 5FM Top 40 with Clean Bandit and Solo.
So I do it so low.
Coming in at number 6, up 3 from the previous week's number 9, it's Jess Glenn with I'll Be There.
Yeah, I got enough love to do. Never be alone. I'll be there for you.
Halfway through the back end of the top 10 this week at number 5, it's local superstar Lady Samar with Collide.
You are a citizen, a resident in my heart.
The number 4 spot, Ariana Grande, No Tears Left to Cry. Another former number 1, also dropping down 2 places from being number 1 the week before in the 5FM Top 40. This is music from Drake. It's called Nice for What.
Watch the breakdown.
Sitting at number 2, she's the producer of 13 Reasons Why, and this is on the soundtrack to season 2. It's Selena Gomez with Back to You.
I know I go back to you. We never got it right. Playing and replaying old conversations. Overthinking.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure to keep listening to me, Nick Hammond, on Hammond Time, Monday to Fridays, 9 to 12. And of course, every Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. as together we find out which track has taken that number 1 spot on the 5FM Top 40. And speaking of which, this past weekend, in an unprecedented move after only 2 weeks on the charts, it's gone to Maroon 5 and Cardi B with Girls Like You.
Oh, 'cause girls like you run around with guys like me till sundown. When I come through, I need a girl like you, yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Mr. Nick Hammond. Okay, so Janie is here. We are about to get serious again. I know you will sing at some point on the show. I promise
all
you
good, man.
it is going to happen. But you might have noticed behind me this incredible wall, our Dipper Omar Wall of Fame. Some major celebrities, some big stars, the Matthew Booths of this world, Pedizio Buane, the Italian crooner. They have all dipped a Omar, okay? Can you remember dipping a Omar when you were younger? Like Omar Rusks are part of our kind of our life.
You have to eat it like that.
It's the only way, man. What's your favorite flavor? Please say buttermilk, because that's what I brought you.
I like the buttermilk one, but I also like the one that's a little bit odd in shape, like the I like those.
So what we got here is some beautiful buttermilk rusks for you to dip, because we want you to develop your own trademark dip. Are you up for the challenge?
Yeah.
Right, get creative. You can do anything. Just, I was giving you examples earlier. Don't slap me when you do it. That's a bit aggressive, but anything else, go for it.
Well, actually something that they obviously didn't see now is that before we went live, he bumped the table and the coffee fell on my dress. So I was actually thinking it's probably a bit weird, but to call it the Messy Graham.
Oh, I like that. So what do I have to do? Do I have to pour coffee on myself?
No, maybe when I dip it, I'll just let it drop in, and because, you know.
Give us in 3, 2, 1.
Oh, I didn't miss.
Oh, man.
I didn't drop it high enough. Oh,
there we go. There we go.
No, I don't feel alone.
I'll even give it a bit of a salt there, just to. That's the Messy Graham dip, JD. I like that a lot. I'm glad I could play some role in this creative process.
Man.
You're a champion. But now the challenge is you've got to get that out and eat it.
Well, it's messy, so there we go.
Oh, well done.
There we go.
Absolutely delicious. Now you can put the whole thing in your mouth in one go. I promise you, I won't ask you any more questions. That's yours. It's yours. You earned it through the Messy Graham dunk. I love that. That's going on our social media pages. Now, you too can let us know how you would dip a Omar and what you would call it. Hashtag dip a Omar. Go onto our Facebook page. Post a picture if you can, or even better, a video. Make sure you don't pour coffee all over someone else by mistake. But we would love to give you an opportunity to make it onto our Dip a Omar Wall of Fame. How good is that, huh? It's good.
It's good. It's very good.
Cozy up this winter and Dipper Omar.
A very interesting name for that hashtag Dipper Omar, but we're about to take a quick break. Janie Bay is performing for us after the break.
Absolutely, yeah, without the Messy Graham, of course. And then we also have renowned fantasy author Raymond E. Feist in studio, man, picking his brain a little bit. It's going to be magic. Stick around for that and a whole lot more after the break.
With a trip to New York City worth 150,000 Rand as first prize, Lancewood SA's #1 cream cheese is so close to crowning the nation's #1 cake. Recipes have been posted from every kitchen in the land. And come July 5th, celebrity judges Zola Nene, Jay Something and Lorna Maseku will host the 3 finalists in a live cake-off on SABC3's Expresso morning show to decide who will bake it all the way to the Big Apple.
Waarvan ek hou van wat ek doen. Dink nie baie goed, baie teer nie. Ek worry nie. Sal altyd wag vir jou. Sal altyd wag vir jou. Vir wie lief is nie, wees lief vir eensaam wie jy is. Al die eensaam is, as jy eensaam is. Wees lief vir eensaam wie jy is, sal altyd wag vir jou. Sal altyd wag vir jou. Weet hulle sê as jy nie by die een kan wees vir wie jy lief is nie, wees lief vir die eensaam wie jy is. Al die eensaam is, as die eensaam is, wees lief vir die eensaam wie jy is. Sal altyd wag vir jou.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You are live with Expresso and just in time for our first performance of the morning. Janie Bay is here performing albums or songs of her latest album, Miscellany. And of course, this one is her first foray into the Afrikaans market, maybe the first of many. We will watch this space closely. You know, it's absolutely amazing. This one was originally done with Hunter Kennedy. It's Wag vir jou.
Waarvan ek hou van wat ek doen. Dink nie baie goed, baie teer nie. Ek worry nie. Sal altyd wag vir jou. Sal altyd wag vir jou. Wees lief vir die eensaam met wie jy is. Al die eensaam is, as die eensaam is. Wees lief vir die eensaam met wie jy is. Sal altyd wag vir jou. Sal altyd wag vir jou. Wees lief vir die eensaam wie jy is. Al die eensaam is, as die eensaam is. Wees lief vir die eensaam wie jy is. Sal altyd wag vir jou. Sal altyd wag vir jou. So altyd, maar as dit nooit en ek mis jou my aft uit. As ek 'n Friends episode in my bed kyk, moenie sê jy is jammer nie. Ek is nie.
to get a cheer like that. Dion, bye, dankie, bro. That was awesome, guys.
you. Thanks so
Absolutely
much.
beautiful. We've got another 2 performances coming your way. Check her out on social media, show some love, and also show some love on our social media platforms at Expresso Show, as where you can find us across the board.
In the national news this morning, President Cyril Ramaphosa and Divisional Board Member of Mercedes-Benz Cars Production and Supply Chain, Marcus Schaefer, announced late yesterday that Mercedes-Benz South Africa is to invest 10 billion rand in its South African assembly operation in East London. The investment is linked to the company's decision to build a generation of Mercedes-Benz C-Class in East London. Ramaphosa said this reaffirmed the car maker's commitment to South Africa. This investment in South Africa's vehicle manufacturing industry is in keeping with the country's drive to raise 1.2 trillion rand in new investment over the next 5 years. Rolling out the National Health Insurance Fund blindly will have severe consequences for the country, the South African Society of Anesthesiologists warned yesterday. Briefing the media on the legislative changes expected in the country's healthcare system, the organization expressed concern that there would be a mass exodus of doctors and specialists if the new funding model was implemented recklessly. The organization had called the briefing following media reports that analysts had warned that state-regulated fees planned by the NHI would drive doctors out of the country. Now moving further abroad, Zimbabwe's political party signed a peace pledge in Harare yesterday ahead of elections in July. The peace pledge is a code of conduct that commits presidential candidates and their different parties to campaign peacefully and also encourages tolerance amongst different political parties. The recent explosion in Bulawayo at a rally of President Emerson Mnangagwa killed 2 of his security officers and was the first serious incident of violence in the current election campaign. And then finally, US President Donald Trump has hailed a Supreme Court ruling upholding his travel ban, which includes people from several Muslim-majority countries. Lower courts had deemed the ban unconstitutional, but the US top court reversed the decision in a 5-4 conservative majority ruling. The court's reversal is viewed as a victory for the Trump administration. The ban prohibits most people from Iran, Libya, Somalia, Syria and Yemen from entering the US. Trump said that the Supreme Court decision was a great victory for the nation and the Constitution. Well, that was your 7 o'clock news update. Here's another look at what's happening in the world of sport with Graham.
Plenty of excitement and, of course, hearts broken across the continent as Africa lost its 4th team at the Soccer World Cup last night. That is Nigeria, were eliminated after a 2-1 loss to Argentina. The Super Eagles needed to win or draw to ensure their place in the last 16, but goals from Argentina's Lionel Messi and defender Marcos Rojo scoring a wonder strike ended Africa's celebrations. Elsewhere, Croatia, they beat Iceland 2-1 to go top of their group, while Denmark and France played out to the first goalless draw of the tournament to both progress. So today it's the turn of Mexico up against Sweden and defending champions Germany up against South Korea, while Brazil will be entertaining Serbia. Then sad news on the rugby front as former Springbok captain Adrian Strauss will retire from all forms of rugby at the end of the current Super Rugby season, bringing an end to a wonderful 14-year career. The Bulls hooker currently holds the record for the most Super Rugby appearances by a South African player, with a whopping 156 caps under his name. Strauss's Bulls team returned to Super Rugby action this weekend as they face the Sunwolves. Elsewhere, we've got a derby on our hands as the Sharks entertain the Lions, while the Stormers hit the road again to visit the Jaguares abroad. Then finally on to tennis. Angelique Kerber's Wimbledon preparations took a step in the right direction yesterday as she saw out a 3rd-round straight sets win over Dominika Kibulkova at the Eastbourne International. Eyeing a first-ever win at Wimbledon, Kerber showed off her strength on the grass, pulling off a 6-3, 6-3 win to set up a round of 4 clash with Danielle Rose Collins. And some other results coming out of yesterday, there were wins for Agnieszka Radwanska, Yelena Ostapenko and Petra Kvitova. We'll touch on those headlines again in a half hour. Right now, let's catch up on the roads.
Well, let's take another look at the roads in Gauteng. Boysens, there's severe delays of 19 minutes on the M1 northbound between Boysens Road and Jan Smuts Drive. An average speed of only 15 kilometers per hour can be expected. I'll bring you another traffic update in half an hour.
Turning air into pristine, clean drinking water. Cirrus Water.
the future of sustainable drinking water.
Thank you, Zoe. Let's quickly take another look at your weather and your temperatures. It's a nice and wet morning down in the mother city as that cold front made landfall, and it's moving in across the Western Cape, bringing with it nice rain as well. For the rest of the country, partly cloudy and sunny conditions, but still cool temperatures going into your Wednesday. Polokwane 4 minimum, reaching a warmer 21 degrees. Mbombela nice and hot today, actually, 8 minimum with your maximum 26. Pretoria 519. Johannesburg 4 minimum with the maximum of a cool 18. Mahikeng 523. Klerksdorp 2 minimum, warming up to 22. Kimberley around 0 this morning, also a maximum of 22. Bloemfontein 020. Richards Bay on 13, reaching a high of 26. Pietermaritzburg 8 to 25. Durban 17-24. Mthatha 7, also a maximum of 24. East London 10 minimum, your maximum 22. Cradock 122. Port Elizabeth 920. George 615. Sutherland nice and cold today, -3 this morning, staying cold with the maximum 9 degrees. Cape Town 716, Worcester 213, Springbok 4 and a high of 15, and Uppington starting off on 2 minimum, reaching a maximum of 19 degrees. That's a wrap of your weather and your temperatures for the 7 o'clock bulletin. We'll bring you another update in half an hour's time, just after 7:30.
Well, our studio is filled with so many bright stars today. We might just need a pair of sunglasses to protect our eyes from it. But today is Sunglasses Day, and we want to know from you, what is your favorite style of sunnies? Is it Wayfarers, aviators, round, or something completely crazy and out there? Let's see what you have to say. Nathan says, hey guys, I missed you. We missed you too, Nathan. Where you been? Okay, well, I like mostly round sunglasses, but I do have a normal and classic design. Johanna says, good morning, team. Have a blessed Wednesday. You too, darling. Says, aviators for me. Josephine posting a lovely picture here says, I love different styles and shapes. And then Vincent says, good morning, team. My favorite sunnies are round. And then let's end it off with Kay, who says, round does it for me. Whatever your preference, let us know on our Facebook page, because why? It's Sunglasses Day. Yay.
Thank you so much, Leanne. Man, it is raining so beautifully outside, hey?
It is.
What a morning. What a way to kick off your Wednesday. Listen, we're going to take a quick break, a moment in between while Princess out there sorts me out with a nice hot chocolate. Thank you very much, Princess. When you come back, we are talking to award-winning, we're going to say novelist, fantasy writer Raymond E. Feist. He's here. We're going to be picking his brain just a little bit.
And someone else's brain we also want to pick is, when it comes to parenting advice, should parents intervene into their child's friendships? We're discussing that further after the break.
Enjoy a moment in between with McCafe. See you after the break.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso. Right now, I want you to set your mind free. The fantasy genre is undoubtedly what allowed my imagination to take flight, and it's more popular now than ever before, but that is only resting on the shoulders of giants. Gentlemen and ladies who have put together incredible literary works that have stood the test of time, and they keep generations coming back for more and more, and they're still at the top of their game amidst a market that has now become so competitive. I hope you liked that build-up, Mr. Raymond E. Feist. Welcome to South Africa.
Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here.
It is so good to host you. I hope you're getting a bit of a groupie vibe. There are a lot of fantasy I'm going to say addicts on this set. We were all chatting about characters, about stories, about books. But before we get onto that side of life, I'm beginning to think you might have an ulterior motive for coming to Cape Town in South Africa. I understand you like a little bit of a wine journey. Is this why Cape Town is always on the list?
Well, no, they just told me to show up, so here I am. But I have, upon occasion, tippled a little South African, you know, Stellenbosch. Oh. Yes. Yeah. No, they have some good wines here. You know, I actually had 3 sales the last time I was here. You got to work on the whiskey a little bit, but the wine is smashing.
We've come a long way. We've come a long way. So hopefully we can lure you into one of those taste testings. Now, I joke because you are on a whirlwind international tour. How are you holding up?
I find, you know, positive thinking and occasionally a good single malt.
It'll get you through, or a double shot, yeah.
Yeah, but mostly it's the people. You know, I've said this repeatedly. I did Britain, Sweden, Australia here, and it's the people. My readers are amazing. South Africa is wonderful. This is my 3rd trip, and the people are welcoming. They're bright. Your kids are amazing.
Gorgeous, yeah.
Oh, wonderful, beautiful children.
Is it amazing to you, and maybe let's go back to the beginning, because you're 1982, there were very few authors blazing a trail in this way. How difficult was it, not just from a genre perspective, but writing that first book? Every author I interview, what did it take to get across that finishing line?
Well, I could do an hour just on how I wrote Magician, so I'll spare your viewers. Mostly it was just persistence, and if I have one thing to offer to wannabe writers in the audience who are thinking about that book, it's persistence. You can't give up. If you give up, you're not a writer. So I finished Magician, and I had a brilliant editor who told me all the things I'd gotten wrong and gave me a shopping list of things to fix, and I did. And I got a clinic in how to write more story with fewer words. And it was brilliant. I was the luckiest guy I could imagine being. And that's the thing. There's a quick story about a Chicago Cubs pitcher in the 1930s named Lefty Gomez, who had this amazing no-hitter where people were catching balls in the tips of their gloves and guys were not quite getting to first base on time. And he got to the locker room and one of the local reporters said, "Lefty, you sure were lucky." And his answer was, "I'd rather be lucky than good." And that's my catchphrase all my life. I am the luckiest guy I know.
Do you still go back to that now when you're writing? If we look at King of Ashes, and we've got the glorious cover here now, is that something that you still apply when you write? What motivates you or drives you now? Is the story? Do you get as involved as we do as the reader?
I think to a degree, yes. There are certain things I refer to as writer's muscle memory, where you just sit down and do certain things that you had to struggle to do when you were younger. In my case, this book especially was a bit of a challenge because I'd forgotten how much work was involved in a first novel in a new universe. I quickly disabused myself of taking things for granted. This one especially was odd because this is true. I woke up one morning and I was either having a small stroke or voices from, out there. I woke up with that narrative voice in my head, literally hearing the words as I came awake, "Who's the King of Ashes?" And I said, okay, do I call the doctor or do I, just ignore that? And by the middle of the afternoon, I went, I have no idea where that came from, but what a wonderful title for a book. And that's when I started working on it.
I'm just trying to, I'm picturing that mental mind map. Just one very quick question. Sure. Are you going to make a TV series? Are you going to make a movie?
Everybody asks me that. And the answer is, yeah, if you got 150 million, let's go. No, I don't make TV shows. I don't make movies. Exactly. I write books. But we're talking to people all the time. And you know how this industry works. I've had options. I've made actually quite a bit of money from books that have never been turned into films or TV. Because the brilliant thing about options is I get the rights back. If I had a deal today, I couldn't comment because that's up to the production to release that information. Not quite a non-disclosure, but close to it in terms of the way in which the industry works and how people, their feelings get hurt if you out them on a failed deal.
Yeah,
so you just,
for sure.
you know. But yeah, I expect that at some point we'll see a magician on the big screen or on the television, whichever is the case. Yeah.
So you better start reading it again, my friend. But Ray, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on yet another stellar release. And of course, we've been putting details of the book launch officially where you can join Raymond. Exclusive Books, Cavendish, at 6 o'clock, Icon Comics and Gaming Convention on the 29th of June to the 1st of July. Go and have a chat. I know he says he walks around like a zombie, but I have a feeling he might take a pick or two, but it's been an absolute pleasure and an honor.
It's my pleasure being here.
Awesome stuff.
Ah, man, what a brilliant, brilliant man indeed. Now, we are turning our attention back to parenting on your Wednesday morning. Now, earlier we spoke about whether or not parents should get involved in their child's friendships, but we're continuing that conversation right now with occupational therapist Nazreen Karim. Nazreen, thank you once again for joining us. Hope you've been sorted out by Princess with some coffees and hot chocolates.
I've had the most amazing cappuccino, so totally sorted.
Good, good. So that's how we like to wake up.
Yeah.
So let's continue this conversation. We spoke about the fact that, yes, parents should intervene, but there's a specific way that you should go about it. But let's say you take a step as a parent, you intervene. In what way can that be bad for your child and the scenario that he has to work in?
I think it's very important to teach your child about conflict resolution at an early age. So instead of you fighting his battles for him, you've got to teach him about actually asserting himself and confronting the situation by himself. Otherwise, he might get used to you actually fighting his battles, and that will lead to an early expectation of always doing that. Yeah.
So let's say that your child has befriended somebody that's maybe not the best influence, a bit of a negative influence, and you can start seeing a couple of things happening with your child, maybe taking on certain behaviors that they not usually do. How should you go about it? Because should you leave it a little bit? Why is it important to maybe leave it and let the child do his or her thing?
I think it's important for a child to actually acquire their own development as well. Yeah. And when you do see a different behavior, maybe it could just be a phase, maybe they are just imitating what they are seeing. It's always important to model the right behavior for them.
Yeah.
And also not to actually necessarily badmouth the friend to your child, but rather say, ask him questions like, do you think that that is the right thing to do? Yeah. So just remember that because he's doing it doesn't mean that you have to be doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah? That type of thing, yeah.
But I mean, when it comes to behavioral change, that's where I think parents should intervene and step in and do something. But if you could, off the top of your head, a couple of scenarios, you know, where parents should be like, yeah, no, that's okay. They should sort it out. What would a scenario like that look like?
Well, you know, it's always, if it's a small little scenario where it's just a little fight over a toy, or it's just a tiny little battle, it's always important to just let them be.
Yeah.
Because kids will always argue and fight with each other. They'll always be competitive with each other. So it's always important to just let them fight it out on their own.
Yeah.
But once it becomes, you know, harmful to the other one, where it is actually getting out of hand, I think at that point a parent could intervene because
yeah.
we don't want any hectic consequences to happen after that.
Absolutely.
To the kids, yeah.
Absolutely, especially like they're young, but it's incredible how you see it already develop from an early age. I mean, I was mentioning earlier, my boy is turning 6 now only, but already fostering those relationship with friends, and you're taking on certain things, behaviors, and copying and saying different things as well. Absolutely. Final words of advice, Nazreen, just for our parents, to wrap this topic up, should we intervene with our child's friendships?
I think at the beginning, it's always important to give them some space to help them acquire their own sense of self-esteem, their own sense of autonomy in making decisions, and being able to be their own judge of character when it comes to meeting friends.
Yeah.
And then also very important to actually be the example, lead by example rather. And for example, sometimes when you see road rage happening, you often see that there's a child sitting next to the one who's actually... So it's always important to make sure that you are setting an example for your child.
Exactly.
And by doing that, automatically you are teaching them how to actually interact with others.
It starts with you as a parent. Thank you very much. You also quickly gave us a picture that you sent. Is this some of the kids that you work with?
Yes, it is. They are all most likely watching from the home now.
Oh, so you can say hello
so
right there. Say hello.
Hey, everybody.
Awesome.
So, yeah, I think they've been waiting for this picture, so they'll be very happy to see it now.
Well, there you guys are. There you guys are.
So this is just for you guys, eh?
Oh, sweet,
Yeah.
man. Nazreen, thank you very much for joining us this morning, giving some very, very important advice. So go out there. You've heard what she said. Make sure that you give them a little bit of space, but when necessary, step in and take action.
Well, coming up after the break, ahead of Mandela Day, and of course, as we celebrate our Tata Madiba centenary, we talk about changing lives, 67 patients at a time.
And then we're also joined by international cosplay model Megan Marie. She joins us in studio. We're going to connect with her after the break.
Coming up on Afternoon Express, today live at 4:30 on SABC3, we focus the conversation on a very serious issue in South Africa. According to statistics, almost 10% of all non-natural deaths amongst teenagers are as a result of suicide. Joining the conversation is suicide survivor turned motivational speaker Daryl Brown, who uses his story to inspire and uplift young South Africans. That's Afternoon Express, weekdays at 4:30 p.m. on SABC3. The stage is yours.
It's my feel-good breakfast
welcome back. You're live with Expresso. Time to be inspired to, I think, honour one of the greatest legacies we could. For the year of 2018, we, of course, celebrate what would have been the centenary of Tata Madiba, Nelson Mandela. And of course, the Western Cape Department of Health has stuck their hands up to contribute. In his honour, they are performing surgery for 100 vulnerable members of society who are in dire need of life-changing operations, including nose, ear, hip replacement, knee operations, an incredible array and some very deserving recipients. We're joined this morning by the Western Cape MEC of Health, Dr. Norma French-Mbombo, and the Head of Department at the Western Cape Health, Dr. Beth Engelbrecht. Doctors, welcome. Great to have you back.
Good morning.
Dr. Engelbrecht, maybe I can start with you just to paint a picture. It sounds lovely when I say it there and an easy feat, but this is a system that is already under pressure. These are such deserving recipients. Can you explain the motivation to do this and in this way?
The key thing for us is to make a difference in people's lives. We do that every day, but now we find that very often the heavy trauma load push patients that wait for elective procedures off the theatre list, and we've got long waiting lists. So it wasn't a difficult decision to say that let us do something that we do well, let us do it for free for patients that are deserving.
How much of a difference does this make? When I say life-changing, it's quite flippant, but that really is what it is.
Absolutely. So a patient who are blind because of cataracts, it's a 15-minute procedure and you change their life. They're not dependent on people. They can go to the toilet on their own. It is life-changing. People in pain with hip arthritis, all of those things, you absolutely change people's lives.
Dr. Mbombo, obviously I've mentioned, and I think we should all be taking cognizance of the fact that this is, yes, what would have been Tata Madiba's centenary year, but there is an opportunity there to do something truly remarkable. Why have you, as a ministry, gotten on board for this campaign? Why is this important to you?
It is important in the sense that, for example, whilst it's our responsibility to have these operations, but because of the long waiting lists, also with the issues related to the budget, we'll find that we are unable to. So that's why it needs a public-private partnership for us to add more to reduce the waiting list. Because some of them wait as far as for a year or two, for example, for the knee replacement. So for us to do it for Tata Madiba, it's very crucial, and it needs the whole society, because government alone will not be able to do it.
Is this setting a roadmap for future? I don't want you to obviously paint a picture of a time that hasn't been locked down yet, but will we see more of this kind of partnership? Has this sparked something that we can see being done every year, being taken to a greater level in the future?
Oh, yes. Last year we had 67 operations, so we asked for more, and this year we've got 100. Probably next year we're hoping for 200. If people be able...
I was going to say, we've started with an exponential growth, so we've got to continue on that.
We rely, especially the corporate individuals, which they really contributed for this.
And they get to
and
benefit
also for the
from...
staff. Because for the staff, they have to also take extra time without necessarily getting more payment for such.
Yeah, and we already know they're under massive pressure. I think a very important question to me is, how do people get selected for this? What is that part of the process?
So, for example, the hip replacements and the knee replacements, we've got a kind of international researched waiting list mechanism by which there's the same criteria applied across the whole province. So we've got one electronic waiting list, but every hospital knows which patients are at the top of the list, and that must be done first. So that is a very fair process. The same with cataract surgery. We select people with one cataract or two cataracts. It depends on all of those criteria to be on top of the list, and they then get selected earlier. For the children with the tonsillectomies, again, these are children that have been waiting. So last year we focused only on cataracts and hips. That's largely in the elderly sector of the community. This year we're also focusing on children with ENT and also on women in reproductive health with sterilization marathon at Mitchell's Plain Hospital. We're very excited about that.
I think Tata Madiba would love the fact that you've broadened that scope. Just very quickly, the timeline on this, when is it going to be wrapping up?
The Madiba Day is on the 18th of July. We have already started some of the operations, but by that time, at least we'll get done with all of those, and then we'll make an announcement. And again, we appeal to the whole public, specifically the corporate, the business. We won't be able to do it without you. Please assist. Do it for Madiba.
Yep, and benefit from this wonderful upswing in media attention around Tata Madiba's centenary year. Doctors, ladies, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Good luck with the final phase. And thank you so much for bringing those life-changing operations to people who so desperately need them.
Thank you. In the national news this morning, President Cyril Ramaphosa and Divisional Board Member of Mercedes-Benz, Marcus Schaefer, announced late yesterday that Mercedes-Benz South Africa is to invest 10 billion rand in its South African assembly operation in East London. Ramaphosa said this reaffirmed the car maker's commitment to South Africa. Rolling out the National Health Insurance Fund blindly will have severe consequences for the country, the South African Society of Anesthesiologists warned yesterday. The organization expressed concerns that there would be a mass exodus of doctors and specialists if the new funding model was implemented recklessly. On the international front, Zimbabwe's political parties signed a peace pledge in Harare yesterday ahead of elections in July. The peace pledge is a code of conduct that commits presidential candidates and their different parties to campaign peacefully. And finally, US President Donald Trump has hailed a Supreme Court ruling upholding his travel ban, which covers people from several Muslim-majority countries, such as Iran, Libya, Syria, and Yemen, from entering the USA. Well, that was your 7:30 news update. I'll have a full bulletin for you at the top of the hour.
Let's kick it off with football. Africa lost its fourth team at the Soccer World Cup last night as Nigeria were eliminated after a 2-1 loss to Argentina. Today, it's the turn of Mexico up against Sweden, while defending champs Germany, they're up against South Korea. Then on to rugby. Sad news as former Springbok captain Adrian Strauss has announced that he will retire from all forms of rugby at the end of the current Super Rugby season, bringing an end to a wonderful 14-year career. And finally, in tennis, Angelique Kerber's Wimbledon preparations took a step in the right direction yesterday as she saw out a third-round straight sets win over Dominika Kilkova at the Eastbourne International. More on all of those stories on the top of the hour right now. Let's get a traffic update.
Well, let's take another look at the roads. In Gauteng and Highveld, there's been an accident on the N1 northbound. It's at New Road, and the emergency lane is currently blocked, so allow for some extra travel time. That's where I leave you traffic. I'll bring you a final update at 8 o'clock.
Quality fuel, convenience, and service with a smile. Whether it's to fuel up or stock up, Caltex, it's how you get there.
Thank you so much, Zoe. And if you're also on the roads down in the Western Cape, please drive with care. The roads are wet. That cold front moved in over the Western Cape, bringing with us some beautiful rain this morning already. And it is set to continue for the Western Cape throughout the course of your Wednesday. Your temperatures, Polokwane starting off on 4 minimum, reaching a high of 21 degrees. Mbombela 8 to 26. Pretoria 5 and a high of 19. Johannesburg 4 minimum, reaching a high of 18 degrees. Mahikeng 5.23. Klerksdorp 2 minimum, your maximum 22. Kimberley around 0 this morning, nice and cold, but warming up to 22. Bloemfontein also 0 this morning with a maximum of 20. Richards Bay 13.26. Pietermaritzburg 8 and a high of 25. Durban 17.24. Mthatha 7.24. East London 10 minimum with a maximum 22 degrees. Cradock 1 minimum, warming up to 22. Port Elizabeth 9.20, George 6.15, Sutherland very cold today -3 and a maximum of 9, Cape Town 7.16, Worcester 2.13, Springbok 4 and a high of 15, and Uppington starting off on 2, your maximum 19 degrees. That's a wrap of your weather for the 7:30 bulletin. We'll bring you a final update just after 8.
Now, as we continue our celebration of the imagination this morning, we're joined now by a woman whose job it is to make sure that video game fans are kept happy. From California, Megan Marie is the Senior Community Manager for the Tomb Raider series at the games development company known as Crystal Dynamics, and she's also an internationally renowned cosplay artist. This morning, we unpack what all of this means and, of course, what brings her to our beautiful shores. Megan, so good to have you on the show this morning.
Wonderful to be here. Thank you for having me.
I am so excited because I love me some cosplay. Before we begin with anything else, what exactly is a community manager?
You pretty much summed it up, right? So community managers are the liaison between the fans and the studio. So I do both the community and the social media, and it's taking feedback from fans, making sure that the developers know what people are saying, what features they like, what things they're requesting, and then also just coming up with really fun stuff for social media to engage, and things like our cosplay ambassador program or taking care of our international fan sites and so on. So I get to work with hardcore Tomb Raider fans all day, which is a dream come true.
Well, you are in a safe space because we're all hardcore Tomb Raider fans. But what
awesome.
led you to want to be involved in this, from the video games to the movies? I mean, we love it. But what drew you to this particular life that you're living now?
So I've always been a fan of video games. Like, since I can remember, I would play games with my brothers. But I had never really seen myself in a video game until my dad brought home Tomb Raider. And I was 12 at the time. And I remember looking at the cover and just seeing we had nothing in common. And, you know, obviously she's British, she's an aristocrat, she's all this sort of stuff. But she had brown hair and she was a woman, and that was enough. That was what I needed to be really inspired. So really, Lara had inspired me for years and years and years to just push myself and what would Lara do and be, you know, adventurous and so on. And that led me to working in a video game magazine. And then I wrote the world cover story for the Tomb Raider reboot. And
it's amazing.
Crystal Dynamics saw my desk, which was a little bit over the top with Tomb Raider stuff.
Tomb Raider.
And they're like, seems like you really like Tomb Raider and know it very well. Would you like to come work for us? And I moved 2 weeks later to California.
How amazing does life kind of, you know, bring you to do what you're so passionate about?
It doesn't, it's not lost on me that Lara basically inspired me growing up and shaped who I am. And now I get to help shape who she is. Like, that's not lost on me at all.
You know, it was Oprah that said, find a way to get paid for doing what you love. Yes. Girl, you're doing what you love. We love it. What exactly brings you to South Africa?
We're here for Icon up in Johannesburg. I was just so honored to be asked to come out here. And so, you know, I was invited out as a cosplay guest, but because we don't often get to come out here for showing off Tomb Raider in video games, I brought some of the code with me for Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and so we're going to be showing some fans that, and the other days I'll be dressing up. And
that is so
it's
awesome.
Fun.
It is fun. It is fun to get dressed up. But what does it involve to transform yourself into these characters? Because it's not like just going to a fancy dress shop. It's really intricate.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, I'm definitely a proponent of cosplaying being for everyone. So if you want to buy your costumes, if you want to commission someone else, if you want to make up your own characters, I think cosplay is really just about being in costume and having fun.
Love it.
Personally, for me, I really like crafting. So this is my primary creative outlet. So
look at Wonder Woman.
Primarily all leather and thermoplastics. So I really like working with leather. I really like making armor. I do not like sewing.
Really?
So I can, but I like to do kind of found materials. And Wonder Woman is one of my biggest inspirations. So this is Atomic Wonder Woman.
This is awesome. Atomic Wonder Woman.
And that's an original. It's steampunk Lara Croft. So I like to put twists on iconic characters. If they're, you know, Wonder Woman, as long as you have the red and the blue and the stars or, you know, eagles and so on, you can tell who she is. So it's fun to kind of play with the iconic characters.
Love it, love it. Well, Megan has very kindly brought one of her costumes along today, and we're going to send her off to wardrobe to transform herself, and later she'll give us a little taste of the world of cosplay. Do not move a muscle. Our imaginations are going to be taken to a whole nother level on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Ooh, you. Not that one, the other one. Yeah, that's the one. They can just go in again, sorry. I start singing immediately.
And now we're lying hand in hand, your breath louder than the wind, and I can feel we're all alone. Your heartbeat next to mine, your face, it always shines, but I look at you, then realize I can't be the one you hold, I can't be the one you like, I can't be the one you save, and I can't be the one. This is not the end. Ooh, 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 ooh. This is not the end. Ooh, 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 ooh. And now we're standing here again, my head softly in your hand.
on the rise. An American pharaoh. I'm young and I'm black and I'm
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso. Thank you so much for tuning in. It has been an inspirational and celebrity-laden show this morning. Loving it. Loving the fantasy vibe this morning. It shaped me. Love it. But let's get back into the real world, please. Okay, what is the... It shaped me, man. That's why I'm as crazy as I am. Now, what have the international stars been up to,
Well,
Lee?
talking about the real world, in the world that we live in, being original is pretty hard to come by because
Yeah.
everybody's kind of already done it. And of course, various artists have come under fire for plagiarizing things, everything. But songs are a big one. And the latest that have been added to the list is Childish Gambino, who was accused of allegedly plagiarizing his hit This Is America. Now, people started tweeting about the song during the BET Awards on Sunday night ceremony because host Jamie Foxx started singing the song on camera. Now, the artist that he's accused of allegedly copying from, his name is Jace Harley, and this is from his 2016 March of 2016 song called American Pharaoh. So we decided just to give you a kind of a taste of both.
Please.
We're going to pull both tracks and then give you a quick listen. First up, we've got American Pharaoh by Jace Harley. Take a listen.
Cause I'm on the rise. An American pharaoh. I'm young and I'm black in America. They try to attack and embarrass us. Y'all don't want your daughters to marry us.
Oh, I'm picking up a hook there.
Yeah, I know.
I'm picking it up. Okay, so let's take a listen to This Is America by Childish Gambino.
This is America.
Oh.
Don't catch you slipping now.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
is it... I mean, unfortunately, we live in an era at the moment where everyone is trying to be the same and there's a particular kind of hook that works.
Yeah.
Is it a direct copy of plagiarism or is it a...
How oddly similar, a little bit too similar when it gets to that part where they're both talking about This Is America.
But I was going to say, you know, you could handle a beat, but it's the fact that the drive, the thrust, the creativity of the song is in the same lane as well, yeah.
Well, Jace Harley, who brought us the 2016 version, took to Instagram to set the record straight and said, in the caption, he said this: I feel extremely humbled to be recognized and labeled as one of the original inspirations for one of the most important pieces of music and visual art of our time. He also added this. He said, I appreciate all the love and support, but please do not let this controversy dilute the message that me and Childish Gambino are trying to convey. We are speaking about injustices we've encountered, and he's helped to provide a platform for all of our voices to be heard. Let's not discredit him for that. The focus should be on affecting change in our communities and building equality. This is bigger than me, this is bigger than him, this is bigger than music. Let's not lose focus. Whoa!
I love that. If it's
that
plagiarism,
kind of
the world needs more of it.
Is like crazy,
But
you know?
he's going to gain so much more out of it. And,
100%.
And let's be honest, there's a reason why we've been talking about this song, that music video, as much as we've had, because yes, it's amazing, it's brilliant,
Yeah.
but there is a need
100%.
for this
Yeah.
conversation, and that is why this needs to be
And I
put
love
out
it.
there.
I love it.
More
Nip it in the bud. Don't let people lose kind of the sense, the essence of what it's about. And who knows? The two of them could have had a conversation, and Childish Gambino could have said, "Yo, really love it. Could I just,
I was so inspired by you, yeah. But you know what? It was like PR judo there. You just,
Nice.
I will deflect it. I will use your energy to deflect it. But that is brilliant. And we've also been talking for 20 seconds longer than we should have about the song, which is how powerful it is. That's our international news wrap-up.
That's right.
It all started with making creams and lotions from natural materials in the comfort of her kitchen in Brooklyn, New York. And thanks to the encouragement from her mother, she started a family business and today running a renowned international brand with celebrity clients like Jada Pinkett Smith, Halle Berry and Oprah Winfrey. Now we have founder and owner of Carol's daughter, Lisa Price, in studio with us as we talk about the inspiration behind her phenomenal brand. Lisa, it's so great to have you and welcome to Expresso.
Thank you, thank you.
25 years ago, when you were in your kitchen, you know, creating all these things, did you ever think you would be here today where you are today?
Absolutely not. That is the most surreal part of this entire experience. You know, to walk into a store like Clicks or Discam and to see the products on the shelf here is just amazing.
I mean, you are around the world. You've got, you know, celebrities using your products. Did you ever, you know, what's the journey been like for you?
It's been one that has been just full of so much growth and experience, and I feel humbled by the fact that I started with such a small operation, starting in my kitchen, starting out with $100 and just working hard and getting to see all of this happen. It just makes me much more appreciative of all of it because I know how much work went behind it.
Yes, well, it's so great to chat to you. I mean, I've seen your products in the stores. Where did the name Carol's Daughter, why did you decide to name that your brand?
Well, at the time, I made a list of things that I was and a list of things I wanted to become. And I was Carol's daughter, and I was also Robert's daughter, Gordon's girlfriend, and Hank's secretary. I liked the way Carol's daughter sounded, and it was a great way to honor the relationship that I had with my mom, and it's a great way to honor relationships women have with their mothers and their daughters and sisters. You know, the bond between women is very important, and it's how society continues to flourish. When we're happy, everyone else is happy.
That's true, and it's beautiful you made the list about, you know, who you are and where you want to go. And you know what was also quite beautiful is what sets this product apart, because I mean it's all about embracing your natural curls, but what sets Carol's Daughter apart from the rest?
Well, you know, my grandmother taught me that when you're in the kitchen and you're cooking, you cook with love. You put love into what you're preparing for your family, and you don't walk into the kitchen with any negativity. And I've always done that since the very beginning. Now, granted, we're not making products in the kitchen, but all of us come to work with a love and a passion for what we do, and that's what I try to give to other people. I want you to love yourself, to be proud of yourself, and never feel that what's inside the bottle is actually going to change you. It's just going to enhance who you already are.
And I think that's important. People need to know that. And tomorrow the Curls Affair event is taking place in Johannesburg. There are a lot of ladies that are excited to attend. You are one of the guest speakers, and I think everyone is going to be looking forward to what you're going to be saying. But what is the message you're hoping to leave South African women with?
Well, there's actually two messages. So one is, if you're coming to learn about your hair and your beauty and how you manage it, we have you covered. Be patient and let the process work. But also, if you're coming because you want to be inspired to do your own business or to start something different and think outside the box, we're there for that as well. So there's lots of networking and support, and I just want people to know that it's possible. I'm an example of that.
You definitely are, and thank you for coming this morning, inspiring us. Lisa, it was so great having you on Expresso this morning. And enjoy the Curls Affair event.
Yes.
Now, if you're interested in going, make sure you get your tickets. They're still available at the doors, and of course you can buy them on Ticket Pro. And Carol's Daughter continues to inspire women around the world to embrace who they are. So own your beautiful curls, tag along with your besties, and let your hair down at this year's Curls Affair event in Johannesburg. It's an all-natural hair and lifestyle event for all women over the age of 18. It's an affair you definitely do not want to miss out on.
All right, there we have it. You seem to be impressed, yeah? You want to swing around? Yeah. Chef Mo joining us in the studio this morning, the owner of the Kids Cooking Club. Now, the school holidays, they're well underway in week 1 at the moment, and right now you might be looking for some interesting DIY ideas or maybe some fun in the kitchen to keep the kids busy. We've got just the thing together with Sasco, the bread and baking experts. They came up with this incredible, nice recipe just to keep the kids entertained and have a little healthy snack at that as well. Chef Mo, lovely to have you. Welcome,
Thank you.
welcome,
Thank
welcome.
you for having me.
Centipede sandwiches. I mean,
That's
just look
right.
at this guy. That's too cute, man.
That's adorable. And kids love anything creative that you can do with them in the kitchen. So we've got the centipede sandwich, obviously made with our Sasco bread.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So basically what you've done with the bread is you've just kind of, you're going to show us quickly how to do it. Okay,
yes,
cool.
of course. So basically you can take either your brown or your white bread. So today we'll be using the white bread.
Okay.
Right, so you
but
can...
I see with these ones you get white one, the brown one, then you alternate.
Correct, exactly. We just want a nice balanced diet there. So we've got some mayonnaise, we've got a radish over there that you can use for the eyes. We've got a cucumber over here to add some healthy stuff in there.
That's good.
Right, and obviously we have our ham.
Right, okay, cool.
Right,
so how do we do
let's
this?
get started. So we obviously need our bread and then some mayonnaise. You spread your mayo there.
Right.
On each slice, make
and
sure
I love
it's
the
nice
fact that
and
the kids can get involved, and I'm sure they would love doing something like
this. They love it, and it's got a learning element to it, obviously, because they get to count, they get to spread. So once we've done that, we can add our ham.
Right.
Just put that nicely on. Right, and then you close it up. Then you take your cookie cutter and you say, can you cut out 4 of these circles for me?
Right.
And you get them to press it nice and
You
hard.
see now. You see now. And there we have it. And look how
it just
beautiful.
pops out nicely like that.
This is such a simple idea, but I mean, it's a mind-blowing process for the young ones. I know my boys are going to love doing something like this.
And the best part, obviously, is you can always say, we've got leftovers, would you like to eat it?
The rest is dad's, man. The rest is dad's. So I'll definitely dig into
so
that
we can
a
just
bit
put
later
that on the side. So now we have our beautiful circles complete for our centipede.
All right, cool.
Right?
So let's make the little eyes, and what do you do?
That's
and
correct. So we basically use the radish. You can cut up the radish for the eyes, and then we have to make our legs.
Right.
And the feelers, and then you can use some white cheese for the smile.
Okay.
For the centipede. So we can start now with the
Go
cucumber over here.
Well, I'm not going to do any cutting because you need to teach me how this is exactly.
Right, so we can cut this into 4 equal.
All right.
Right, you can turn it over. This part, obviously, the adults can assist with because we don't want our kids to cut their fingers, right? So you can basically cut your feelers out like that.
Yeah, and then you can just make your little slivers there.
Yes, exactly. So we've got our beautiful little feelers there.
And
then you can start cutting into triangles, small triangles to make the legs. Just chop it up.
But it's a great way to introduce a little bit of health to your child's diet
Exactly.
as well.
And while you're busy cutting up, they can always eat a little bit while they go. Get them to taste. It's a very nice experience for them.
And then you just start assembling it.
Yes. So basically, you will also use the mayonnaise as a bit of glue to help stick the elements onto your centipede's face.
All right.
So basically, what we can start with, we can add the eyes a little bit. There we go.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Oh, this is such a simple idea. I'll tell you what, we're going to be finishing off this guy. She's going to put on the final touches. In the meantime, SMS the keyword SASCO to 33728 if you want to get your hands on this rather interesting and fun recipe for the whole family. That is SASCO to 33728. But if you've missed any of the steps, it really is easy. But here they are once again.
Keep the littlest member of your family happy and entertained with these SASCO centipede sandwiches. Spread a little mayonnaise onto each slice of bread before adding a slice of ham to the bread to make 4 sandwiches. Using a cookie cutter, cut 4 circular sandwiches from each sandwich to give you 16 rounds in total. To make the head and legs, slice cucumber lengthways into 4 even slices. Then cut 3 of the slices into triangles or blocks to make the feet, leaving 1 slice to make the feelers. Cut the top off the radish so it has a flat edge to stand on. Then make 2 holes using a knife or skewer on top for the cucumber feelers to be placed into. Cut a piece of white cheese into 2 circles and another piece into a half moon for the mouth. Use a little mayonnaise to stick these onto the face. Insert the cucumber feelers into the holes at the top of the radish before placing the circular sandwiches behind the head to form a snake-like body. Use your cucumber triangles or blocks to make the feet on either side of the body to complete your centipede sandwiches.
It really is so quick and simple. That keyword once again, SASCO to 33728. And just look how cute it is. This is the one that we've just finished up right now. You got your feelers on there, your little eyes and your smile, and you just pop some of those.
Can't forget the smile.
Cucumber feet. No, you can't. That is very cute, man. I like that. Chef Mo, thank you very, very much for joining us this morning. Yeah. Making school holidays fun with something like this. DIY in the kitchen. We love it. The keyword is SASCO. SMS that to 33728. The recipe will be on our website as well. That's expressoshow.com. Nice one.
Thank you.
Sasco, baking together since 1930.
And now we're lying hand in hand, your breath louder than the wind, and I can feel we're all alone. Your heartbeat next to mine, your face, it always shines, but I look at you then realize I can't be the one you hold. I can't be the one you like. I can't be the one you save, and I can't be the one. This is not the end. Ooh, 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 ooh. This is not the end. Ooh, 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 ooh. And now standing here again, my head softly in your hands, and I can see we are at one. Our eyes meet and align. Your eyes, they never lie. I look at you, then realize, I can't be the one you hold. I can't be the one you lie. Can't be the one you save, and I can't be the one. This is not the end. Ooh, 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 ooh. This is not the end. Ooh, 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 ooh. This is not the end. Ooh, 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 ooh. This is not the end. I know it's the end, but I just can't pretend it don't feel right. No, just tell me to stay or will you run away? But I need to go. Yeah, I need to go. Do I need to go? This is not the end. This is not the end. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Happy birthday, a very happy birthday to you.
Oh, welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's time for us to wish you a happy birthday, especially if you're celebrating your birthday today, the 27th of June.
Absolutely. First up, though, British actor Sam Claflin celebrates his birthday today, so happy birthday, Sam. Of course, he gained fame for his supporting roles in Pirates of the Caribbean, On Stranger Tides, Snow White and the Huntsman, and also The Hunger Games. And he'll be back on the big screen next month in the film Adrift, that's based on a devastating true story. I'm sure JP will be running us through Adrift as well. Happy birthday,
right.
Sam.
And then we have a few viewers we would love to wish a happy birthday for. The first one, Charlene. Happy birthday
Hello,
to you.
Charlene.
And then another one we would like to wish is... There we go, Jaden Adams. Congratulations. Well, not congratulations. A happy birthday to you, sweetie pie. I have no idea how old he could potentially be turning today, but happy birthday, Jaden.
On his little quad there, man.
There
Very,
we
very
go.
cool. Real little boy. Thank you very much. Remember, if it is your birthday, if it's coming up, please send us a picture along with your name.
Tell us how old you're turning.
Yes, we would love to know and wish you a very happy birthday right here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
In your national news this morning, President Cyril Ramaphosa and Divisional Board Member of Mercedes-Benz Cars Production and Supply Chain, Marcus Schaefer, announced late yesterday that Mercedes-Benz South Africa is to invest 10 billion rand in its South African assembly operation in East London. The investment is linked to the company's decision to build the generation of Mercedes-Benz C-Class in East London. Ramaphosa said this reaffirmed the carmaker's commitment to South Africa. This investment in South Africa's vehicle manufacturing industry is in keeping with the country's drive to raise 1.2 trillion rand in new investment over the next 5 years. Rolling out the National Healthcare Insurance Fund blindly will have severe consequences for the country, the South African Society of Anesthesiologists warned yesterday. Briefing the media on the legislative changes expected in the country's healthcare system, the organization expressed concerns that there would be a mass exodus of doctors and specialists if the new funding model was implemented recklessly. The organization had called the briefing following media reports that analysts had warned that state-regulated fees planned by the NHI would drive doctors out of the country. Now moving further abroad, Zimbabwe's political party signed a peace pledge in Harare yesterday ahead of elections in July. The peace pledge is a code of conduct that commits presidential candidates and their different parties to campaign peacefully and also encourages tolerance amongst the different political parties. The recent explosion in Bulawayo at a rally of President Emerson Mnangagwa killed 2 of his security officers and was the first serious incident of violence in the current election campaign. And then finally, US President Donald Trump has hailed a Supreme Court ruling upholding his travel ban, which covers people from several Muslim-majority countries. Lower courts had deemed the ban unconstitutional, but the US's top court reversed the decision in a 5-4 conservative majority ruling. The court's reversal is viewed as a victory for the Trump administration. The ban prohibits most people from Iran, Libya, Somalia, Syria, and Yemen from entering the US. Trump said the Supreme Court decision was a great victory for the nation and the Constitution. Well, that was your 8 o'clock news update. Here's a final look at what's happening in the world of sport with Graham.
Let's kick it off with the World Cup. Sadly, Africa lost its 4th team at the Soccer World Cup 2018 last night as Nigeria were eliminated after a 2-1 loss to Argentina. Super Eagles needed to win or draw to ensure their place in the last 16, but goals from Argentina's Lionel Messi and a very rare goal from Marcos Rojo ending Africa's celebrations. Elsewhere, Croatia beat Iceland 2-1, while Denmark and France both earned qualification, playing out to the first, in fact, goalless draw of the tournament. Today, it's the turn of Mexico up against Sweden and defending champs Germany up against South Korea, while Brazil will entertain Serbia. Then on to rugby. Sad news as former Springbok captain and Adrian Strauss will retire from all forms of rugby at the end of the current Super Rugby season. Bringing an end to a wonderful 14-year career, the Bulls hooker currently holds the record for the most Super Rugby appearances by a South African player, with 156 caps under his name. Strauss's Bulls team returned to Super Rugby action this weekend as they face the Sunwolves. Elsewhere, we've got derby action on the cards as the Sharks entertain the Lions, while the Stormers hit the road again, travelling to the Jaguares. And finally in tennis, Angelique Kerber's Wimbledon preparations took a step in the right direction yesterday as she saw out a 3rd-round straight sets win over Dominika Kibulkova at the Eastbourne International. Eyeing a first-ever win at Wimbledon, Kerber showed off her strength on grass as she pulled off a 6-3, 6-3 win to set up a round 4 clash with Danielle Rose Collins. And some other results coming out of yesterday's action: there were wins for Agnieszka Radwanska, Yelena Ostapenko, and Petra Kvitova. And that's a wrap of your sport for this Wednesday morning.
Let's take a final look at the roads in Gauteng and Lindbro Park. There's been an accident on the N3 southbound. It's at London Road, currently blocking that left lane. And in the Western Cape in Bellville on the N1 outbound after Sable Road, there's a multi-vehicle accident that's currently blocking the center lane. Roads are also wet this morning, so please proceed with caution and reduce your traveling speed. And that's where we leave your traffic for this morning.
More than a club, more than an appliance brand. Defy.
Right, let's quickly take another look and last look at your weather and your temperatures. And it's a nice and wet morning down in the mother city. We love it. That cold front has moved over in and brought with it some nice rain this morning already, and it's nice and chilly outside as well. For the rest of the country, though, partly cloudy conditions and also sunny conditions with warm temperatures up north. Polokwane 4 minimum with a maximum of 21 degrees. Mbombela 8 and a high of 26. Pretoria 5-19. Johannesburg 4 minimum reaching a cool 18 degrees. Mahikeng 5-23. Klerksdorp 2 minimum warming up to 22. Kimberley's around 0 with a maximum 22 degrees. Bloemfontein 0-20. Richards Bay 13 and a high of 26. Pietermaritzburg 8-25. Durban 17-24. Mthatha 7 minimum with a maximum 24 degrees as well. East London on 10 minimum, your maximum 22. Cradock 1-22. Port Elizabeth on a 9 minimum, reaching a high of 20 degrees. George 6 and a high of 15. Cold in Sutherland -3 this morning, staying cold with a maximum of only 9. Cape Town 7-16. Worcester 2-13. Springbok 4 and a high of 15. And Uppington starting off on 2 minimum, reaching a maximum of 19 degrees. And that's where we leave your weather and your temperatures for your Wednesday morning.
Well, I need you to brace yourself emotionally for a very emotive performance. We are loving having Janie Bay in studio this morning, and she's about to drop her latest track. It is making waves on radio and on YouTube. Go and check it out if you can, but only once you're done taking in this beautiful performance. It Can't Be the One.
And now we're lying hand in hand, your breath louder than the wind, and I can feel we're all alone. Your heartbeat next to mine, your face, it always shines, but I look at you, then realize I can't be the one you hold, I can't be the one you like, I can't be the one you save, and I can't be the one. This is not the end. Ooh, 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 ooh. This is not the end. Ooh, 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 ooh. And now we're standing here again, my head softly in your hands, and I can see we are at one. Our eyes meet and align, your eyes, they never lie, but I look at you, then realize I can't be the one you hold, I can't be the one you like, can't be the one you save, and I can't be the one. This is not the end. Ooh, 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 ooh. This is not the end. Ooh, 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 ooh. This is not the end. Ooh, 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 ooh. This is not the end. I know it's the end, but I just can't pretend it don't feel right. No, just tell me to stay or will you run away? But I need to go. Yeah, I need to go. Do I need to go? This is not the end. This is not the end. Ooh, 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 oh. This is not the end. This is not the end. Ooh, 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 oh. This is not the end. This is not the end. Ooh, 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 oh. This is not the end. This is not the end. Ooh, 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 oh. This is not the end. This is not the end. Ooh, 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 oh. This is not the end. This is not the end. Ooh, 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 ooh.
This Thursday on Presenter Search on 3, we reveal your talented, beautiful, and charismatic top 10. 3 of these presenter hopefuls will be your next SABC3 presenters.
Who will be one step closer to reaching their dreams? Catch Presenter Search on 3, Thursday night at 8:30 p.m. Repeats Saturdays at 12 midday, only on SABC3. The stage is yours.
Enjoy a moment in between with McCafe.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Call us on your cell phone. Culinary hotline bling. That can only mean
Hey,
one
here we
thing.
go, here we go. Welcome to it. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso right here on SABC 3. It's a Wednesday. You know what that means. It's time for the Culinary Hotline Bling. Ting, ting, ting. Yes, we have our two sassy chefs with us on speed dial this morning. Chef Jenny Morris and Anel Potgieter, who's playing with her lemons.
Yes.
Which is, she's having fun. But listen, if you have any questions, if you want us to solve anything in your kitchen, give us a call, 021-431-9881. That's 021-430-9881. Let me get the number correct before we do anything. Ladies, welcome.
And good morning to you.
How are we feeling?
Next to you, fabulous.
Oh, goodness. It starts off, it's... Shoo, yeah, listen, we have a caller on the line. We have Kathy from Port Elizabeth. Good morning, Kathy.
Good morning.
How are you, love?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good, good.
My question is about angel hair pasta.
Okay.
The name has enchanted and intrigued me for many months. I'd like to know what it looks like and in what sort of recipes would it be used.
Okay. What
capellini.
is angel hair pasta?
It's like this, it's very thin.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, angel hair pasta, as I say, capellini, is also Italian pasta, but it's the thinnest pasta you can get. It's still made from eggs. So it's the thinnest pasta that you get. So it needs like a quick cook. Nee, it is just in a
Very
vinnige quick.
fast, very.
And what sauce would you say, Jen, would you like?
Something really light.
Why do you look at me before answering that question?
Yeah, because yeah, saucy.
Saucy.
Because it needs a very thin sauce, like a cream or just a little bit of pesto. It cannot handle heavy meats, soos
Chunky,
mince or
yeah.
chunky stuff. So you moet baie dun goedjies met dit saam. It's very subtle and thin.
And it's lovely.
Yeah, I would love to. I like use it in a broth, like an Asian broth, and dat dit daarin kom en
Ja.
yum yum yum.
So, what is the difference? What is vermicelli?
Vermicelli is 'n baie dun ene. Is
But not as thin, but not as
But it's not as thin as angel hair
not as
pasta.
thin,
And angel hair pasta is still made of egg.
Yeah.
Verstaan jy wat
okay.
ek sê? Ja, vermicelli is iets wat you can just pour water over it and it cooks like that,
Yes,
nee?
yes.
Yeah.
And angel hair also just in something very hot.
Yeah, but it's
Okay.
made of egg still.
All right, well, there we have it.
egg
Kathy, I
pasta.
hope that answered your question. So in a nice light sauce, a broth, like you mentioned as well.
Yeah, just a little dash of cream, say with a bit of mushrooms, thinly sliced mushrooms.
Yeah. Parmesan.
Parmesan, or just put a bit of pesto through it, bit of basil pesto through it.
Lovely.
All right, so Kathy, picture Anel's hair. And you'll know exactly
Our
what we're talking
angel's
about. We had a question on Facebook from Gumisa, who says, I always try to make frosting, and every time I make it, it doesn't come out right. So my question is, what is the perfect recipe to make frosting?
More hints and tips, really, isn't it?
Yes, you start, Jen. You use butter.
Butter at room temperature.
Are we actually going to do it? Are we
No.
going to make it?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. We use
Thought you were gonna
icing
make me.
sugar.
Icing sugar. And then the thing is about icing sugar to make it light and fluffy and velvety and delicious is to whip it till it hurts, baby. You have to whip it. You whip it
Whip
good.
it
But
good.
Slowly.
Yeah, and slowly. So you have to start with your butter and whip it till it's like light and fluffy, the color changes. And then add a bit of icing sugar slowly to it.
Sift it?
Sift it, yeah, so it doesn't.
Okay.
And then you just whip it till it's fluffy and light, and then you flavour it with vanilla or a bit of coffee
lovely.
or
Orange zest.
orange zest
Love
or
it.
whatever. Yeah.
But the important thing, sorry I'm interrupting
No,
you,
no.
is to put that in slowly and incorporate it.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah.
bit at a time.
Okay.
Another thing is because it's only basically 2 ingredients, butter and icing sugar,
Yeah.
or cream cheese and
Yes.
icing. Make sure you buy the best ingredients.
Right.
Don't skimp on
Yeah.
margarine of cooking butter. Or just
Yeah.
get the best ingredients, those 2 ingredients,
Okay,
to
because
make it delicious.
It's true. It's all about the ingredients at the end of the day. Okay.
Your mouth will love you.
Look, I was going to go and attempt to do this, all right, but seeing it's winter and it's going to take us a while. So
Jou arms, ek weet nie, jy het baie sterk arms, but I don't know if you're strong enough
you
for
will
that.
just hold it. Oh my goodness. Okay, listen. Trishana, also on Facebook, says, "Good morning, guys." Hello, Trishana says, "I really want to know, how do you melt baking chocolate?" Might seem like a very really, but actually I failed many times on how to do this. So what's the right technique?
First,
here?
tell me, what did you do? How did you do it?
I think I either made the bain-marie too hot.
Yes.
And it kind of started like
Seizing.
Yes, is that what it's
Seize is the
called?
word,
Seizing.
seize.
Okay, so how do you do it?
Well, there are 2 ways here. You could do it like you did in the bain-marie, but the water mustn't touch.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the steam mustn't come back and fall into the thing.
Yeah, because that water drops will seize your chocolate. Dan gaan daar, and you will have a big clump and dis al waarmee jy gaan sit. And to get it right, I don't want to try it.
You can't fix.
What I do is a microwave, wat vir my maklik is. So baking chocolate is normally quite thick. So first cut it into smaller pieces, jy weet, of shards. Then put it in quite a biggish bowl. En dan sal ek sê vir omtrent 'n minuut in die microwave, so it comes to temperature, and then you start stirring it. And then just bursts of like 20 seconds haal uitstir. To be a burst.
Yes.
Maar omtrent op medium hitte, don't go high heat, want hy gaan ook seize.
I see. Okay. So if you do it in a bain-marie, do you keep the temperature of the stove kind of low, or you don't want rapid boiling water?
No, not rapid.
Simmer.
Yeah.
Simmer, very simmer.
Sometimes you don't even have to, you can just heat it up and then let it sit in steam, you know. But the important thing is ook die bak waarna jy dit doen. So, you know, don't use a funny like a metal or something that's going to take the heat up. So, dink
Right. Okay. Well, thank you very much. Listen, absolutely. If you want to call and talk to our beautiful chefs, our sassy chefs this morning, 021-430-9881, that is the number. Give us a call, put them to the test, see if you can actually catch them out. Is there anything that you can't answer? Hey?
Well.
Let's not go there. It's the culinary hotline playing ting. We'll be back in a flash.
Well,
Being silly, Ewan. Come on.
Gotta love the culinary hotline, but it's now time to make every Wednesday your wash day. And since it's winter, we are all spending so much more time, you know, wrapped up in our warm blankets, our duvets, and of course, our layers of woolen clothing. Now, when it comes to keeping your woolen blankets, your sofa throws, and of course, those winter sheets soft and comfortable, it is easy with Max Soft Fabric Conditioner. And here is the complete lowdown.
Okay, so let's kick it off with Mac Soft Fabric Conditioner, which puts the final touch to our wash days. It contains two very important ingredients: a softening ingredient, which lubricates and realigns fibers to restore the shape and feel of the fabric, and then an encapsulated fragrance technology to release a long-lasting fragrance.
Now, blankets, they come in a variety of materials, from pure wool to acrylic blends. Now, generally, the fabric is bulky so that it captures and retains the warmth, but when strong winter bedding is put away, it becomes flatter and harder and may smell like that cupboard, you know. It's been
mothballs.
Yes. Now, before reusing your blankets, make sure you put them through, you know, a thorough wash, and if possible, on a 50 to 60 degree cycle to ensure that they are hygienically cleaned. Then add some Max Soft Fabric Conditioner to the final rinse. This will rebulk the blankets, making them soft, warm, and cozy, and of course, smelling fresh.
I was going to say exactly that. So next up, we move on to our winter garments. We're talking about our knits, our shawls, our parkas, our padded body warmers. Let's start with our knits first. There are a variety of fabrics and fibers: cashmere, mohair, lamb's wool. So here are some of the rules, and you do need to apply the rules in this case. Always check the garment label, as we always say, and follow the instructions first and foremost. Then, washing by hand, use cool or tepid water, add MAC washing powder, and whisk to create a lot of foam. Avoid pulling and twisting and wringing out the garments at all costs. It's going to break their shape. Immerse the garments and gently squeeze the suds through the fabric, and then turn them or lift the garment. Be sure to support it with both hands to prevent stretching like a little baby. Yes. Then after rinsing, add, of course, your Max Soft Fabric Conditioner to that final rinse to condition the fibers, restoring the softness and the bulk. Then gently squeeze excess water from that garment. Then bolts and towels to remove as much water as possible. You know, use that as your garment to kind of draw that moisture out. Then dry knitted garments flat, preferably on a drying rack. And when ironing, press lightly on the wrong side with a warm iron under a damp cloth or a steam iron. Just be careful.
Look after them. I mean, they're very expensive. So now we're going to move on to your body warmers and those parkas. Now, acrylic fibers, they are soft to touch, yet they are strong and hard wearing, and they do not shrink. So always add some Max Soft Fabric Conditioner to the final rinse, and this will really restore the softness and keep the garments comfortable to wear. And when it comes to ironing, make sure that you check the garment label at least, and use a cool iron if required.
Then I don't even know if I'm saying this right. Pilling. What is it piling or is it pilling? I'm waiting for the peanut gallery to say. Well, this is something because people are asking, pile. The peanut gallery, vermicelliing around again. So I'm going to go with pilling because it's a double L. It's the formation of little balls of fibers on the surface of the fabric. And this is something people keep asking us about as part of the Mac Wash team. The fabric most likely gets this. It's heavy-duty cotton acrylic blends that are used for tracksuits. Generally, in areas where the garment is subjected to the most friction. Rubbing and scrubbing during the wash process or an overloading of your washing machine can also cause pilling. So try to avoid that from happening if you can, so you don't have to then broach the word pilling on pipe.
Well, Mac makes your wash days a little easier, and we're making it easy for you to win a Mac hamper every week. Now, to stand a chance of winning, SMS the keyword Mac, that's M-A-Q, to 33728. Those SMSs are charged at R1.50, no free SMSs, and T's and C's can be found on our website, expressoshow.com.
This is always so emotional, this washing, right?
Max Soft Fabric Conditioner has fragrance pearls that pop as you move to keep you smelling great for whoever you want to impress.
Well, still to come on your Feel Good Breakfast show, our culinary experts are still in the kitchen and we're taking all of your culinary related questions. And then, of course, we need to stay in the kitchen because we're making an iced coffee starring none other than our Clover condensed milk. All that more coming up on your Feel Good Breakfast show. We'll be right back.
With a trip to New York City worth 150,000 Rand as first prize, Lancewood SA's #1 cream cheese is so close to crowning the nation's #1 cake. Recipes have been posted from every kitchen in the land. And come July 5th, celebrity judges Zola Nene, Jay Something and Lorna Masaku will host the 3 finalists in a live cake-off on SABC3's Expresso Morning Show to decide who will bake it all the way to the Big Apple.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Call us on your cell phone. Culinary Hotline Bling. That can only
Hey, welcome to it. You're back here to your Feel Good Breakfast Show Expresso right here on SABC3. Round 2 of the Culinary Hotline Bling. Ting, ting, ting. Getting underway right now. We have our stars in the show this morning in the kitchen. Jenny Morris and Anal Potgieter joining us this morning. Lovely to have you ladies. It's so awesome to start a day with you. We had a good laugh together just now. Anyways, we have a caller on the line. Barbara. Good morning, Barbara, from Johannesburg.
That's right. I just wanted to find out, I made my own butter twice now, honey, and then I used the buttermilk to marinate my chicken or meat in it, which also works very well. My question is, how long does the butter last in the fridge? I put some salt in to preserve it. And can one also make a whole lot of heads and put it in the freezer?
Ah,
Yes, you
okay.
can.
Cool. Thank you for your question.
Homemade butter, for instance.
The best.
30 days in the fridge. Remember, it's got no preservatives or anything in it, and you can actually freeze it for up to a year. But it's important when you are beating it, and all that buttermilk, I'm happy that you're using that, you need to wash it. And you agitate it, like you put the water in and you agitate it and throw it off and agitate it and throw it off, because you get those impurities and all those funny things and it can make it taste like blue cheese. If it tastes like blue cheese, darling, turf it.
But isn't that sometimes a good thing?
No, teasing. That kind of bacteria. It's got to be controlled.
Yeah. But what I will suggest then, if you freeze it, is to measure out like 100-gram measurement. So, because you're not going to use all the butter at the same time, and freeze it like that.
Yeah.
And bietjie waspapier, what is wax paper?
Wax paper,
Wax paper, and then in a plastic bag, seal it, and put it in your freezer. And write the date on there as well.
Good.
Okay.
But I think it's wonderful that she makes her own butter. It's such a satisfying thing to do it, to do something like that. It's like such an old technique, and it's so simple.
Yeah.
Churn it, baby.
Churn it. So 30 days in the fridge and up to a year in the
Yes.
freezer.
Yeah.
But even those 30 days in the fridge, like Anal said, especially fresh homemade butter, do those 100 grams. You don't want to take the whole thing out all the time because you upset it.
Yeah.
Okay. So use what you need.
Yes, use what you need.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you, Barbara, for your question. Really appreciate that. Remember, our lines are still open. 021 4309 881. That is the call. Do you have another call online?
Yeah. That's nice.
Okay, cool. Let's go to our next question here. We're talking about a question here that we got from Santa Adams, all right? Now, Santa Adams says, I don't know if this question has been answered, and it doesn't really matter, all right? But can you cook your food directly with seawater, or must you first boil the water separately?
Well, there's a couple of issues here. We were just talking about sewage pipes going into the sea.
Yeah, so first of all, if you get the seawater, make sure you get it at the right place. You can't just cut out up in the sea and grab water and go home and cook with it.
Okay.
Go to an area, and I phoned yesterday a few people. There's a place in Scarborough that the water is, if you stay in Cape Town, where you can find water that you can cook with. It's very clean water and not contaminated. So I think if you want to do it, firstly, make sure that you speak to a nature conservation person. Make sure that the area that you're collecting the water is correct. And
also, you know what, you've got to be careful of red tide.
Yeah.
There's a thing called a sassy toxin.
A sassy toxin.
So you must never ever use water at red tide. And the thing, it's got a very high water content, about 35 grams of salt per litre.
Wow.
So I would, if I was doing it, once you've ascertained that it's a safe thing to do, I would boil it with 1/4 to 3/4. So 1/4 seawater to 3/4 of fresh water. And I would test a potato. I'd test drive a potato first, just to see what the...
I would love to do potatoes and carrots and those hardy, earthy flavors, you know. And I think it will take in that saltiness of the seawater.
Absolutely. Yeah. Interesting. Cooking with seawater. So very important. Make sure that you get it from the correct place and source.
Yeah, that is important. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your question, Santa Adams. We have another caller on the line, Hazel from Johannesburg. Good morning, Hazel.
Good morning.
Lovely.
Thanks very much for taking my call. I'd just like to ask the team if it's possible to make a cake. I have lots of recipes from overseas, from England, and I like to make them, and I find every time that they sink in the middle. Now, I have been told that it could be something to do with the altitude here in this part of the world, or am I doing something else wrong, baking powder, sugar combined, or what is the problem there, do you think?
So the cake is falling
flat in the middle.
Flat in the middle.
Yeah.
Yes, every time. I've got a Mary Berry cookery book that my grandson bought me for Christmas when I was in England.
Okay.
And I've been trying a lot of her recipes. And they're very nice recipes, and the cakes taste beautiful. But it's just this falling down in the middle every time. And I wonder if there's some cure.
Well, let's see if we can help you out, Hazel.
I think if it's Mary Berry's recipes, it is brilliant because she is an icon herself.
Yeah.
And I think her recipes you will be able to cook it all over the country. It will be tested. She's in England, no?
Yes,
England.
yeah.
But I think altitude does play a role. Like my mom had a recipe that we could only do in the Free State.
Really?
I couldn't do it here because of the altitude. Yeah, I can klap nie bak nie because it flops in the centre.
I had no idea. It makes a difference.
It's got to do with the ratios of the eggs, the liquid versus the flour, Jenny, and it changes a little bit. And I cannot remember now exactly. Do you know exactly what she must do? Less water, less liquid when you
High altitude.
No, the lower the
lower
altitude.
Because we've got a lot of moisture here. Maybe we've got sea
less
and
liquid.
all of that, yeah.
So what I will suggest is to use a little bit less liquid and then look at your cooking time as well. You know, is it really done in the center and the oven? You know what I'm saying?
And also remember, it cooks from the outside in.
Yeah.
So a lower oven possibly and a little bit longer in the oven to give it a chance to reach its peak.
Okay.
Yeah, and they also use sometimes pans that's got like a little blanket around it in England to control the temperature, especially people like Mary Berry. So look out for that. You find that as well in the baking shops.
Yes.
And you can put it around and it controls the heat better so it cooks through slowly.
And evenly, yeah.
Yeah, so ek sal kyk like a little bit of temperature, lower your temperature and a little bit less liquid.
Perfect. Ladies, thank you very much. Hazel, thank you for your question. That's a very interesting one, actually. I had no idea that altitude plays such a role in baking as well, hey? I've still got lots to learn, but that's why you guys are here. Thank you very much. Always lovely to hang out with you, Chef Jenny Morris and Anel Potgieter. Give them a round of applause because they are just phenomenal. That's your culinary hotline bling. Sing, sing, sing.
Bring your confectionery to life with Clover condensed milk. Made with love by Clover.
So with an ever-growing population added to the effects of climate change, there can be no argument that our planet is experiencing increasing pressure on our rather scarce resources, both water and energy. I think we've felt these effects directly across South Africa, certainly here in the Cape Town area.
Now, the good news is that there are businesses that care and are committed to making a difference. DeFi, South Africa's leading appliance brand, they have embarked on a water-wise campaign to remind us that every drop counts. Now, by integrating the latest technology into their appliances, they are making saving easy, but essentially it all begins with each of us in our homes and at work. Better yet, if you need a little encouragement or are, a water warrior yourself, DeFi, they are pumped to reward your efforts and share your tips.
Now, hundreds of you have had your say already, and I love that. And our top tip of the week has to come from Nikiwe Dlamini. Now, her advice is to invest in water-efficient goods like shower heads, taps, toilets, dishwashers, and washing machines, like the Defy washing machine, which has an automatic water control system. It's a given now. You've got to make that shift. The Defy 7-kilogram front loader washing machine has exactly that, an automatic water control system that only uses the water you need for your washing load, saving you water.
That's right. Well, if you care enough to share, why don't you visit the DeFi Facebook page like Nikiwe did? And I think, she deserves a round of applause for that.
You've just won yourself a brand new Defy 7 kg front loader washing machine. And it's in the beautiful Manhattan grey, valued at 5,000 Rand. So if you'd like to enter, make your posts as well. Get them out there. Start spreading the education on being water wise. We'll be doing our next draw on the 31st of July 2018 at 5 p.m. Terms and conditions apply.
So make sure you enter and don't go anywhere. We've got more coming up for you on your Feel Good Breakfast Show.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso right here on SABC3. Now, we've been on a global fashion tour of late here on Expresso, searching for the most coveted trends on the international style scene. First, we landed in London. Then we skipped across to continental Milan. And today, we've hit the crescendo with a spring-summer 2019 menswear preview off the catwalks of Paris, not Paris, Paris. Our latest stop of the season, and here with a fashion edit to keep us all current, fresh and fabulous. We've got Expresso fashion editor Nick Strelitz, everybody. So good to see you, boo.
It's good to see you.
Minus the singing.
I saw you 4 minutes ago and I missed you.
Do you know,
so
dude, you've been singing every time I've seen you in the last 2 weeks. 100%. But is it because it's season now? It is season. This is season.
This is season.
And Paris is it the crescendo? Is Paris the big one?
Paris is the best. Sorry to the other three cities.
Why are you so excited about Paris?
Well, Paris is the fashion capital of the world. I mean, we talk about Milan and New York and London, but Paris is where designers come to make it. So once you showcase in Paris, you've made it. You've made it. But I want to talk trends because
we love trends.
We love trends, and we like to talk about how we can appropriate trends in South Africa from what we see in the catwalk. The tailored suit.
Oh,
this is
God bless you, child.
God
bless you,
Lord,
child.
bless you,
Men's
Jesus.
clothing for men.
The tailored suit, yes, that's clothing for men. Yeah. Profound statement.
But it is, but
yes,
it's
absolutely.
true, man.
It's true.
We live in an androgynous fashion
okay, let's not go
world.
there.
No,
okay,
just be open-minded,
here.
Graham. But the tailored suits, we saw sort of a backlash against the tailored suit in the last few seasons. We saw designers opt for more sort of wide leg, baggy silhouettes, right? Now form-fitting in that silhouette. It's all about the narrow pants, a form-fitted blazer. People like Virgil Abloh, who's the artistic director for Louis Vuitton, the first person of color as the artistic director, he's really shaking things up with his boy Kanye.
Yeah.
You guys looking behind me? I can't see.
Yes, we can see everything.
So he just
like,
like, what are you saying?
What an awesome moment.
It was an awesome moment, and it was his first show for Louis Vuitton, and he's pioneering the slim cut tailored suit. So this is what we need to be on the lookout for in South Africa.
Okay, so when we talk about the tailored suit, I'm a huge fan.
Yes,
I
you
really
are.
am. But how do we help our men here in South Africa?
I'm so glad
kind of appropriate that and make it work for us.
Absolutely. So we're taking off the runways and how people can wear it in their wardrobes. Now, I rolled up into Woolies yesterday because I'm always there. I live in the food aisle. I live in aisle number 4. If anyone needs to see me later, that's where I'll be. Just lay down.
You look a bit like a mannequin.
Yes. I found the most incredible addition suit. And I want to show people how they can wear 3 ways to wear the same suit. Wow. So it's about making that garment last the distance.
Okay.
Let's talk work week.
Yes.
So we've got our work week suit. This is your 9 to 5 suit.
Stunning. Let's see our first model. So this is one suit, 3 ways.
One suit. So you're going to see the same suit worn 3 ways.
Cool, man.
Right?
Hello.
So instead of opting for the general sort of... Leanne? What? Hello, sir. Instead of opting for the traditional button-up shirt, I decided to do a roll neck for the season.
Nice.
It gives it an instant chicness and elegance, and really slims up the silhouette as well. A Chelsea boot as opposed to sort of an Oxford or Baroque, again, just to mix it up, and finish off with this beautiful scarf. Again, it's about tonal wear, so we're doing blues and blues and blues, but this is offset by this scarf here.
Stunning, absolutely stunning.
Right?
When it comes to tonal wear, what are the don'ts? Because a lot of people are going to be like,
I want to, I would wear pants with them, so I would not go pantless with a turtleneck. That's generally my key. Okay, I'll talk to you later.
Different style.
Now this is weekend, so it's all the same suit. This is our weekend edit. So a lot of guys don't think you can actually dress down a suit and make it more casual wear, but you absolutely can.
This is so cool.
Isn't this beautiful?
Is this event vibes because you want to kind of keep an edge when you're at an event and just don't go straight down the line with a suit, but you also still need to maintain an element of chic or something that does fit you know, what's required.
And the suit does that for you. You're getting a tailored suit, so that automatically elevates the look, but then we're dressing it down with the trainer, Virgil Abloh from Louis Vuitton, a big fan of dressing the trousers with the trainer.
Stunning.
And this old trusty here.
The moon bag.
This is my...
the man bag.
Fanny pack, yo.
Yeah.
And then, of course, our final look. Same suit, worn
3 ways.
Every day, man. I love that.
Yeah, every day. Okay, so this is sort of our wedding edits. This is sort of wedding season, spring, summer in the next few months, so we're getting some much needed inspiration. Listen, Woolies is all about the difference. It's all about finding pieces that are elevated in whatever way they are. So instead of the button up here, that's generally a smooth cotton, we're doing a texturized fabric. Same with the tie. These texture ties are just, It's all about finding subtle ways to make the look more fashion forward.
nice.
And obviously finish off with a brown brogue.
The finishing on this is we went from like event to like awards event. Now this is awesome. This is really stunning.
It's all versatile.
Check out his smile. You know
Wow.
he looks good.
Thank
He
you.
knows he looks good.
Thank you so
man.
much,
Thanks
Next
so much.
Of course, making sure that we wear one suit 3 different ways. The fashion edit here on Expresso, style advice that's easy to use, as that leaves you looking absolutely and feeling your absolute best. You can head in store for all the incredible fashion you've just seen right here, right now on our runway, or you can visit www.woolworths.co.za. Here's to the most fashionable season yet. Those models were hot though.
You can find him out.
Wow. Well, from fashion to spending time in the kitchen, no matter what the question is, the answer is Clover condensed milk. Yes, that's the answer.
Yes.
And we're about to up the coffee ante by making an iced coffee with Clover condensed milk. And it's really to give it just that creamier, sweeter finish to a delicious iced coffee.
It's going to be beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So what we've done
make.
already, Zoe,
Okay.
we've brewed some coffee and we poured that coffee into an ice tray. All right, so we froze it and hence we have beautiful coffee ice cubes.
Okay, perfect.
Very cool. So now we're going to go with the iced coffee part. Okay, cool. So what we have is beautiful espresso. All right.
And this is obviously cooled down.
Yes, cooled
because
down
we're going to
espresso.
stick to the
It's an
cold
iced coffee,
themes.
all
Okay,
right.
perfect.
Your vanilla ice cream that we're going to get in there as well. Let's
Okay.
not make a mess.
There we go.
Now, for our hero, our Clover condensed milk. Now, it comes in an easy-to-open tin nowadays as well, which is great.
Yes.
Perfect for your treats and bakes at home.
Oh, I have such fun
How sweet do you want it?
Let's go a little bit more.
Really?
There we go. There
Just
we go.
like that?
Yes.
Yes,
Ask me that question. You're going to question my answer.
Oh, that is good.
There we go.
And here we have some hazelnut essence as well.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, smell that, yes. That's going to put another spin on this coffee. Just a little bit because it's a quite intense flavor. And then our Clover full cream milk to top it up with.
And that's it. You blend that up.
You're going to blend this up. I will just make sure we have enough for 2 glasses there.
There we go.
That should be good. Let's give this a blast, Zoe.
Okay, well, our keyword this morning is Clover. If you'd love to have this recipe and the link sent directly to your phone, that's Clover to 33728. We will send you the ingredients list and recipe.
That's it. Okay, here we go. You ready?
Here we go. Yep.
Let's do it. Beautiful. Look at that color. 4, 3, 2. Bam. And look at that. That is exactly what you want. And now we just pour it over our beautiful coffee ice cubes.
There we go.
And you will be enjoying this. Oops, hang on. I'm making such a mess here. Hang
Okay,
on.
well, you're still a better pourer than me. Listen, our keyword this morning is Clover to 33728. And in case you missed any of these steps, we've got a quick recap video for you.
Make your day indulgent with our best ever Clover condensed milk iced coffee. For this delicious recipe, you'll need 2 tablespoons of Clover condensed milk, 1 cup of brewed coffee, 2 shots of good quality espresso, 1 cup of Clover fresh full cream milk, 1 scoop of vanilla ice cream, 1 teaspoon hazelnut essence. Start off by filling an ice tray with the brewed coffee and allow it to freeze overnight. Add the 2 shots of espresso to a blender and add the Clover fresh milk. Next, add the vanilla ice cream and the Clover condensed milk. Lastly, add the hazelnut essence and blend the mixture until smooth. To serve, add the coffee ice blocks to a serving glass and pour in the coffee mixture. Now that's a caffeine fix with an icy twist.
Made with love by Clover.
Made with love, indeed. The keyword is Clover. SMS that to 33728 for your iced coffee this morning. And there we have it, Zoe. Bam, look what I have.
You have pink
Some
straws.
pink little straws.
Okay,
of course, environmentally friendly straws. We are going that route. Give it a taste. This is amazing.
Oh, wow. This is incredible. Iced coffee with condensed milk.
Yes. Cheers,
Cheers,
Zoe.
this is
Try
mine.
this one out. Clover to 33728. Man.
Bring your confectionery to life with Clover condensed milk. Made with love by Clover.
So a little bit earlier on, we chatted to Megan Marie, who is the international cosplay model, currently visiting South Africa for the longest-running gaming convention known as Icon, which is taking place in Joburg this weekend. Now, we sent her away to transform into one of her characters. We said bye-bye to Megan and welcome Daenerys Targaryen, Mother of Dragons. Wow, look at this. This is so her.
You are my sun and moon. I absolutely love it.
Costumes where it's actually very comfortable, which is something overlooked in costumes every once in a while.
It's amazing, and there's like, is that like blood spatter or something on there?
I tend to cosplay characters that are warriors or have weapons and so on. I tried being a princess once, and I didn't know what to do with my hands. I was like, how do you princess?
Yeah.
So it's warriors. It's kind of my
warriors. But warriors are amazing, absolutely amazing. Look at
I mean, apart from the satisfaction of having this incredible reaction and putting together these unbelievable characters and looks, is there something cathartic about being able to embody that? You spoke about being inspired by the likes of Lara Croft and Wonder Woman. How does this make you feel when you get into this kind of cosplay headspace?
It's really empowering. I mean, it is allowing you to step into the life of a character, and if you find something really inspirational about the character, you can almost take something away from that. It's not just creating like fan art or so on, which I love that sort of stuff, but you actually get to embody the character physically, and it brings joy to other fans too. It's like wearing your nerd cred on your sleeve, except for it's your whole body. So
Geek for life, yeah. Well, we love doing that. Like you can see on your screen currently, there's pictures of myself, Graham, and Ewan as we of course got into the vibe when Batman and Superman was released. I was Wonder Girl, Wonder Woman. I'm a woman, and we were loving it. But I mean, looking at your costume, there's so much detail. How many different costumes have you created in your career?
I think I've done about 60 at this point.
Wow.
And they vary in intensity. You know, some of them take me several months to do and cost quite a bit more than others. But every costume I make, I try to learn a new skill. So, you know, I really like the leather working and the armor, and I've done resin casting and so on. And so it's been fun learning new techniques.
Oh man, Megan, thank you so much. You are a trailblazer, and from
Thank you for having me.
From the rest of the geek community, thank you so much for bringing this element of cool to cosplay. It's something that gives so many people such an awesome, I think, opportunity to show who they are, which is beautiful. Oh man, that is awesome. You can please stand up. Let them take that in. Khaleesi, one last time. We're going to take the quickest of ad breaks. We'll see you on the other side for another performance from Jane Bates.
Plug this, Lucian. Go and plug this. Go and plug this.
Far out in the countryside, sitting on a hill, Jesse James is sitting thinking about where he has been. Left his wife and kids at home in search of something new, only to find that something new cannot be found, and so he said, gotta get home. Up along that dusty road, blistered in the sun. Sorry, I'm just tuning. When he thinks about the smiles he'll see on his return, he kicks that stallion to pick up pace and
my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh man, we've got a few more moments left of the show to savor this morning, and what a way to do it. Janie Bay has been just so awesome to host this morning. Dude, you've been pretty good as well. Thank you so much, Dion. But there is an ethereal edge to your music that has just kind of transported us, so thank you so much for
Thank you
that.
for having me.
It's beautiful, it's authentic. She's been giving us a taste of her album. Plenty of hits hitting the radio, but go and download where you can, search for this girl online and show some love. After breaking our hearts a little bit earlier in the show, she's going to restore some of that loving angst with Gotta Get Home.
Far out in the countryside, sitting on a hill, Jesse James is sitting thinking about where he has been. Left his wife and kids at home in search of something new, only to find that something new cannot be found, and so he said, gotta get home. Gotta get home, hey. Up along that dusty road, blistered in the sun, Jesse on that stallion, still long away from home. When he thinks about the smiles he'll see on his return, he kicks that stallion to pick up pace and ride into the sun. Gotta get home to you, babe. Gotta ride off of the sin. I gotta get home to you, babe. No matter where I've been, gotta get home to you, babe. Where my heart always remain. I gotta get home to you, babe. Home to you, babe. Gotta get home. Gotta get home. Gotta get home, yeah. Gotta get Gotta get home to you, babe. Where my heart always remain. I gotta get home to you, babe. No matter where I've been, gotta get home to you, babe. Where my heart always remain. I gotta get home to you, babe. I gotta get home to you, babe. Where my heart always remain. I gotta get home to you, dear. No matter where I've been, gotta get home to you, babe. Where my heart always remain. I gotta get home to you, babe. Home to you, babe. Gotta get home.
Janie Bay, you legend. What an awesome show, guys. She is phenomenal and just so cool to hang around with as well. She's been awesome to have on set, so thank you so much, Janie. And Dion as well, brilliant on the guitar.
So stunning.
On the guitar.
What a day, guys.
I know, Megan Marie on our show, showing up as a Khaleesi, looking absolutely amazing. But listen, you made a recipe with clover condensed milk. Tomorrow we're going to do the same. This time we're going to make a clover condensed milk salted caramel fudge.
Ooh. Yes. Wow. And then Hatchet Man is going to be performing. Sounds pretty cool.
That's it. Listen, and also the Lancewood Cake Off. Guys, it's heating up. We're going to meet our third finalist tomorrow, all right, and see what creation that she came up to.
And Lola Maseko's here as well.
She's going to be, she's one of the main judges as well for this competition. So that's a 150,000 rand trip to New York City we are talking about as a prize.
Take your bite out of the Big Apple.
With the winner, I'm just saying.
But can you, baby? And then can I lastly say, can I get a round of applause and a huge amount of gratitude for Raymond E. Feist, the legend joining us this morning. Absolutely wonderful to host a superstar in his genre. Thank you so much for taking the time. And we've got all those details on our website where you can see and hopefully meet the man at his book signings. We love you guys so much. We'll see you all tomorrow. Have a safe day.
Cheers.
Adios.
Expresso Morning Show, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.